Go-To Life is instant health in a bottle. Enjoy the experience of life, vitality, energy, recovery, and water in one water bottle, without the downsides of all those added calories or sugar. Go-To Life is a lifestyle product for wellness, recovery, and energy. It's water charged with a high level of oxygen. Using our unique technology, we make it possible to dissolve oxygen in water up to 10 times more than you normally find in your tap or bottled water. That could provide boost to your health. This makes oxygen water one of the most sought-after well-being and lifestyle products in the world. Find out more at www.gotolife.no.
Welcome to the broadcast of the Altibox Norway Chess Super Tournament. We are hosting this time from a brand new venue, the Stavanger Concert Hall, which is the venue for the last 3 rounds of the event. I'm International Master Anna Rudolph, and I'm once again here with Grandmaster Simon Agdenstein.
Hello.
How are you feeling today, and what are you expecting from today's round?
I'm feeling good. It's a good place we're at today.
It's so beautiful. I can't just keep looking around. There's a gigantic ship next to us, the Bay Area of Stavanger. This is such a fascinating building. It was built in 2012. I've just looked it up, the Stavanger Concert Hall, and it's the cultural arena of the area, not only the city, but the entire area of Stavanger.
Right. And we also have Magnus Carlsen just sitting next to us. He's actually he's hosting the show on the Norwegian television. It seems like the normal host, the journalist, is having a day off or something.
He is the host. He's wearing a pink salmon t-shirt, and he's enjoying being a host today. He has a free day, an extra free day, because his opponent would have been Chinese Ding Liren. Today, unfortunately, he couldn't continue the tournament. As we have mentioned, he fell off of his bike on the free day and had a very severe injury, a hip bone injury, had his surgery here in Norway, and now he's recovering. Luckily for us, we saw him smiling. He went on the boat trip yesterday, walking on crutches, but he went on the boat trip, so he had some fun time yesterday, even though he's injured.
Yes, but actually I'm looking very much forward to today, despite not Magnus playing, because I think we have an interesting encounter between Wesley So and Mohamed Yarrow. They've only played each other times, I can see on my base, and Mohamed Yarrow has won 2 of them. So hasn't he won in the Blitz? That was the first time in the Blitz, the preliminary Blitz that was here. That was the first time Wesley So managed to beat Mohamed Yarrow. But yesterday, Wesley So beat Magnus for the first time in his career. So perhaps if he managed also to beat Mohamed Yarrow for first time in his career, then he's really on the run. So
certainly, and we should definitely mention that since he beat Magnus on the day before the free day, it means that we have 2 leaders. It is Magnus Carlsen and Wesley So on 3.5 points. And in case it is a tie after round 9, we will have playoffs.
It's not unlikely with a playoff, and it may even be more players. And and that would actually be quite fun, I think. But also on the next board with Aronian and Karjakin, they met each other loads of times. But the great thing about those encounters is that very many of them are won by one of the players. They continue beating each other. They've done that for years, and that is good for us.
What is the score roughly? Can you estimate the score? I see many games between the two.
Yes, I can estimate the score. I just see that just recently in the candidates, then Karjakin, they beat each other once each, just in the candidate tournament recently, and in the Blitz recently, Karjakin won, but in the World Championship Blitz in Riyadh, then Aronian won, and so it goes on and on. They beat each other. They've beaten each other lots of times.
So many decisive results, and that is great news for us. We are not expecting any boring draws. And
Not
I
at
think
all.
that after the free day, usually the players come back full of energy, and what we will see is fighting chess. Even though the world champion is not playing, but he will be commentating on the games.
Now they started. I see that Arionan has a quite good plus score against Karjakin actually, but that might have something to do with age perhaps. Because perhaps he did beat him a few times when he was a little bit younger or something. But now they started. I see that at least that Karjakin has started with d4, which is interesting because he normally plays e4. So that's always already something to wonder about why he started with d4. And we'll soon see. But as he is so well prepared all the time that it's actually a little bit too much sometimes, I would say, because you want to see them play, not just to see how much they remember. So I'm curious about Karjakin's opening preparation, the Queen's Gambit, the Queen's Indian. Sorry, so far. Now I wonder if Levon plays the Queen's Gambit. People seem to have stopped playing the Queen's Gambit on the highest level for some reason. Knight c3. Yesterday we saw d takes c4 between Arjonian and Karana, and that
Yes,
was
in round 6 before the free day.
That's the Vienna defense, and that's very solid. And I know that Arjonian plays that line, but this is a more interesting line actually. Bishop b4. I can't remember what's it called again. Do you?
This one.
Yeah, I know it very well, but I just can't
Ragozin?
remember. Ragozin, is that this? Ragozin, right. This may be an interesting fight. It's more interesting when he plays bishop g5. Sometimes they play bishop queen a4, forcing knight c6 and takes on d5 and pretending to be solid. That's still possible to take on f6 and give a check on a4, which is solid. If he plays bishop h4, it will maybe easily be very sharp actually. Then we're talking long theoretical lines. And if it takes on f6 gives, well, if it takes this, we can just wait some seconds. If it takes, but this is kind of, sorry,
It have enough, would have
something
enough
like
funny
this.
move, bishop takes.
Oops, again. This is the kind of the solid way of playing this with white. But not so much. I hope that Karjakin has something more sharp in his sleeves when he plays such an sharp. When he suddenly plays d4, he will not just play d4 just to play something like that. I think he wants to play something sharp. So I'm looking forward to what he will do here. It may be a theoretical battle, but if it's sharp, that's okay then.
He's thinking, which is surprising because he has had really amazing preparations so far.
Yes, and it's actually possible. I think if you play e5 first, you kind of avoid this boring stuff, and then follow up with h6. I think that's also an opportunity for a very solid one too, or not solid. It will be sharp, but that's the way black can play to avoid these little slightly boring things with that I just mentioned. So, but h6 first gives black the white opportunity to play this boring stuff thing. What did he play?
I think he has
He has played something it doesn't show on our board.
the bishop back somewhere. Bishop. It takes a moment to update our
Yes.
board.
But that's okay. Somehow it seems like
Is that bishop
Mohamediaro
to-
and so hasn't started. Is that correct?
Let
not
me
sure.
see.
They're
have
started. Okay, the transferring of the moves is a little bit slow.
Yeah, I think now you will receive the moves. Hopefully,
Here they come. You just need to connect the connect a little bit better.
the cable.
Just need to. Okay, interesting stuff going
So
on.
after h6, it was bishop takes
Oh.
f6.
He took on f6 and gave the check on a4. As I mentioned, was slightly boring, the solid way. But he did not take on c5, c4. But that's also, it doesn't make a big difference. This is also, I wouldn't say boring. This is also possible. It's all a thick theory. Normally black goes back with the bishop to d6 and plays e5. But I'm just wondering how to heat up the battle here, because I hope Karyakin will play something kind of sharp, since he suddenly plays d4. Must have something sharp in mind, is my hope.
I believe so, but let's have a look at the remaining 3 games so that
Yes.
we have a general picture of round 7
Already here, lots of things has happened.
and that lovely pawn structure, double pawns on the c file and on the f file.
This is
What pair of bishops?
This is Nakamura Caruana, is it?
Yes, Caruana
Uh,
Nakamura, the All-American
Caruana
clash.
Nakamura. The first thing that strikes me is that I've never seen this position before. The second thing is that I haven't spent any time at all. So, and they obviously have seen it before.
They have definitely seen this before. So, well, we have just spotted first impression. The pawn chain of white has been damaged. So he's got double pawns on the c and the f file. But to compensate for the damaged pawn structure, he has the pair of bishops.
Yes, he has the pair of bishops, and I like White's position, kind of. But I'm very curious how this position occurred, because how did this bishop end up on c2, for instance, things like that. So if I get a chance to play through quickly here,
Sure.
c4.
Started out as an English opening.
Yeah, that was possible to kind of guess. It looked like this opening, but how it turned into this bishop d3. I'm sure it's not new to Nakamura, since he didn't think about his response. I think I need to have a check here, actually.
Bishop d3,
D3.
on move 7.
Yeah, it happens quite often, actually, that the players play things I've never seen before, which I still find a little bit. Well, I would say I've played chess many years, and still they play things I've never seen before. Already on move 6.
There are just so many variations, it's not easy to know everything, Simon.
Yes, thank you. But bishop d3.
So what's
d3
the opening theory after
is
queen
it-
f6?
It's the normal moves are knight f3 and d4. That's the obvious normal moves. Going with the bishop onto d3 is the third most popular move. But there are no other moves. It's kind of played 21 times in my online base, and that includes absolutely everything or rubbish, I think.
So d4 and knight f3 are the natural moves, which we can understand. Bishop d3 is the third most popular.
It's quite nice to have the base, actually, and then you can see right away if the players have played it. And here we find out that this was played by Nakamura before, with white
With Nakamura having the white pieces.
against Wei Yi, and that was played in a rapid in Qatar, in Doha. In
Qatar.
Doha, in Qatar, right?
The World Rapid.
Right.
in
I was
2016.
there, actually. I didn't notice them playing this line, but
I was there as a commentator and I don't
Were you?
remember the game because we have had so many games to cover, so I'm
it
not
was
sure
just a
that
rapid game. It's
I've seen
impossible
it.
to. It's interesting that Nakamura has played before, and then suddenly Caruana plays it against Nakamura. In that game, Wei Yi responded knight c6, and the point was to play the bishop here, which is a quite good position for the bishop. A little bit unusual though, but a good position. When um, at least
So in Nakamura's game, it was bishop d3.
bishop d7, bishop d3, and Nakamura immediately responded bishop d7.
And in his own game, how-
That is kind of, it's been played before by Mesko Stupak. 2561 player has played this with black, which kind of, I don't know if it is included to be theory then.
So in Nakamura's own game, where Nakamura had the white pieces against Wei Yi in Doha, after bishop d3, knight c6 was played by Nakamura's opponent, and here Nakamura with the black pieces went for a different approach, bishop to d7.
And the strange thing I would say is that I think it's possible to foresee that this line could happen, and it's possible to foresee bishop. And he obviously had bishop d3 prepared. I'm just wondering if it's also, they obviously have foreseen this ending and they have considered it. Corona and his team. I'm not sure who's on his team actually.
On Nakamura's team.
I
think he has his longtime second as usual.
That's true. On Fabiano Caruana's team,
Rustam is here with
Rustam
Fabiano.
Kasimdzhano.
Hikaru is, I think he is also here with his second.
Who? Corona.
Both of them are here
Yes,
with their
yes.
seconds.
They all have seconds here, except Wesley guy Georg Meyer. I think it's just he was there in the beginning. I think he just went home. But it's interesting this thing, because it's become just a position, and that's just what we want. We just want a position that is interesting, and no long theory or anything here, and that's nice. Corona goes for such things. Magnus is doing it all the time, but Corona is doing the same. And also Nakamura, of course, is willing to play interesting chess.
Definitely, and we are very happy to see that. Those of you wondering about our light settings, it is just that we are so lucky that the weather is amazing in Stavanger, and we are in a new location, the Stavanger Concert Hall. So if you cannot see our faces, it's because the weather is amazing here in Stavanger, and we are playing in a building that is basically all crystal. The walls are made of crystal, windows everywhere. I don't see any plain wall from here, and therefore it isn't easy to fight against the sunshine, but we love to have nice weather, right?
Yes, and it's nice to be here.
Definitely.
We have a wonderful concert hall in Oslo too, the Opera House, and it's kind of the Opera House, when it looks like this, then the town is doing well, to put it that way. This is the big oil capital of Norway, but actually times have been a little bit worse the few years, but they're about to recover now. So then they have a proper concert hall.
It's a wonderful building,
As
and
part
it's a
of
very
being-
recent building. It was built 6 years ago, so it is really a new building, all modern design, architecture. I just can't stop looking at the angles, the shapes of the furniture, and the whole design. It's a lovely building. You should definitely check it out. Google Stavanger Concert Hall and look at the pictures of what an amazing venue this building is.
We have a couple of other games that we haven't looked at yet, but I see they're both theoretical games. Anand Varshela Grav and Mamadiyar Wesley. So, should we maybe just have a quick look?
Sure, let's have a look at the other game as well.
The main interesting thing here is that Anand has chosen the open Spanish.
All right, so that's something new.
Simply the open
This time.
Spanish, that means taking on e4 is the open Spanish. It's not so modern, actually, but it's very hard for white to get an advantage because it's hard to be creative. Here, basically almost everything is analyzed. And as some other players say, Anand is such a great theoretician. So it's very hard to find a new idea against the open Spanish. So if black is well prepared, and if it's difficult, especially if this has come as a surprise to Varshela Grav, which it may easily have done. The first thing that comes to my mind is the game between Kasparov Anand. Wasn't that the game? where Kasparov just blitzed out an enormous theoretical novelty against just Anand. It was just
In the open Spanish.
in the open Spanish. So Anand has played the Spanish for years, but I'm not sure if that's his.
It's not his main repertoire
it's
nowadays.
not his main repertoire, but Vachier-Lagrave is thinking it's difficult to be creative here for white, and Vachier-Lagrave loves to be creative, and that I think maybe is struggling a little bit with that.
Yes, all these variations in the open Spanish are very well analyzed, as you have mentioned. It's a theory until move 2025 with quite many draws. So it is an opening for black, which is supposed to be pretty good in terms
I
of
think
drawing
it's good.
chances.
And I'm a little bit surprised it's not more popular, since it's so difficult for white actually to get this an
That's true.
advantage. But here the alternative is to put the bishop on c5. Here I think it's an alternative to go with a bishop knight to c5 and then castled. And since Vachier-Lagrave is thinking, and I think I would need to check if it's if castling is unusual, but I'm not sure.
In the meantime, I just wanted to mention that today was not only about round 7, which is being played now here at the Altibox Norway Chess Super Tournament, but in the morning we've had an amazing conference, the Norway Summit, and we are happy to be joined by some of the speakers, like Mr. Warner, whose talk I found really impressive. Simon, you should have been there.
Yes, I actually just had a look inside, and I kind of was quite happy because I kind of understood what he was talking about.
I think for us who don't come from the AI environment, it was also possible to understand, and that's what I appreciate, that even though they are the leading experts of their field, they managed to give a talk that was possible to understand in a broader sense as well. So it was, of course, about inspiring ideas and how to improve and disruptive thinking, but at the same time, even I could understand what the topic was about.
Yes,
And that's a big thing if I understand it.
that is clever. Then the talkers are clever.
Yes,
Not,
it was very well
not
made.
to get you to understand it, but to make me and actually follow it. So this was something for a broad audience, and certainly an important topic: artificial intelligence.
So important that also for chess, after seeing AlphaZero beating the strongest chess engine, I think we shall have a look at AI in a sense of how can it evolve in terms of chess, and what will happen to chess once deep learning also affects the way chess engines start thinking.
Yes. And in the meantime, I found out that Anand is doing absolutely nothing new under the sun. He's playing the main line, but rook e1.
He's using his own AI to equalize against Vachier-Lagrave.
Yeah, Vachier-Lagrave is kind of playing the third most popular move, rook e1. The most common move is bishop here. I think that's the most normal. Somehow also queen e2 is played before, which surprises me a little bit, because I thought this. I think if I remember right, well, there are lots of ways of playing here, actually. But f5 is just one, and maybe that is the main line too. And then I would ask myself, should I take that one or not? I wouldn't be sure if I had it in a real game. But at least this is one way of having. I need to look at my computer next to me. But if I remember right, this stuff has been played a few times. And
Instead of this, Vachier went for a different approach.
this is I don't know if this is interesting or not. I think it's just supposed to be
Equal, then opposite colored bishop middle game.
this is this we're not talking much advantage for white here, but I think this is played a few times, and if black knows what he's doing, which I'm absolutely sure Anand does, it's not long before this game will end in a draw, I think.
It's not easy at all to catch Viswanathan in a variation that he would not remember. It's not only that he has everything analyzed, he also remembers his opening repertoire, which is not the case with every player. We have seen players being surprised at this tournament, but not Vishenant.
No, he knows his opening well. He's kind of a scientist.
He is.
Yeah.
He is really one of those super grandmasters and former world champion who takes the scientific approach to chess and wants to know all the variations to the deepest possible length.
I'm quite happy that that he starts thinking a little bit here. It's possible. I can see on my base. It's possible to take here. I don't think that's if he takes here. I think I will have taken with the queen actually, just to let this knight, this one stay stuck on to the defense of this pawn. But I'm sure it's possible to take with the bishop too. But the main line is bishop c5, and
Knight to c5.
knight to c5, and this is the main line. And then now I can't remember anymore. I have ideas.
It's alright as long as the players remember.
Yeah, well, there are lines that goes like this.
With d4.
And you can either take it.
d4 is a typical move in this variation of the open Spanish. So what black wants is to get rid of this d pawn. Whenever he can, he will push d4 and try to force a trade with the c pawn for the d pawn. I think after the c and d pawns disappear from the board, black is just fine. The d file opens up and black's pieces are active. With the pawn on d5, this isn't the case.
Yes, the white may be threatening b4 here, so something has to be done. But now I actually remember things, because I think I've seen this thing, and it's interesting if he returns, and this looks
Looks like it wins a pawn.
like that pawn on c2 will be doomed somehow. And this is I think you go with this one. I see it's hanging there, but I'm uncertain. I just thought it was maybe I have to take with this one.
So after knight takes.
Now it looks like this pawn is doomed.
But it takes time to win that pawn.
Maybe it is doomed. Maybe I don't not remember right. Because now it seems like you can simply play bishop a4. I really wish I had this rook over there. I can't remember properly. If it appears, I need to check it.
Instead, in the game, I believe they have continued with knight takes d2. So actually, this isn't the position that we will see in the game between Bashir and Anand.
The thing is that this isn't exactly what. Well, somehow I don't find that many games in just this line, which makes a little bit wonder. Because then there's something wrong with my memory. Because this thing that I believe I've seen before has certainly been played many times before. So I think you can just kind of. Almost forget what I'm saying because I don't know what I'm talking about. But
It was still very instructive, Simon.
there are lines that goes on like this. But good. If it's not the main line, I don't know what the main line was then. But because it was something with these things.
It is usually with the d4 push. We
Yes.
just didn't manage to find a moment to play d4. Anyway, the game went on with...
And it was the same yesterday. Even Marcela Grave, he couldn't quite remember the things or against Aronian.
Yes, the day before
the day before
yesterday.
yesterday.
Yesterday they went on a boat trip. All the
Okay,
players, well, most of the players, including Ding Liren, who is recovering from his surgery.
Yeah. But I said during the game that I couldn't quite remember, but and Marcela Grave couldn't remember either. But that was because Aronian confused both of us a little bit with a small rook to b8 move there. So, okay, Anand is thinking. Just a quick look on this one, because here, this is a classical Catalan, and Wesley So knows the Catalan extremely well. And a4 has been played, seems to be the latest fashion. And not taking the pawn, I think Aronian took on c4, did get absolutely nothing.
So this is the open Catalan. It is called the open Catalan when black takes on c4 with the pawn. And there are plenty of approaches. Queen c2, a4 is one of the main lines against the open Catalan.
Yes, I actually remember what it was something like this against Aronian played something like this, and it was possible to play h6 at some moment, and and force the trade. But I think he played a couple of bishop moves before. But something like that has happened. Queen D here, Mohamed Yarrow played bishop d1, and then at least it's something different.
Rook to d1 happened, yes.
Rook to d1, that's at least
bishop
something new.
c6.
And now I'm a little bit curious actually, because I'm not sure if I remember this position. It just took without being provoked by h6, which surprises me a little bit.
It is slightly surprising, and also in this variation Black managed to keep his pawn up. So the c4 pawn is an extra pawn for Black. White didn't bother capturing this pawn earlier.
And this is nice because Wesley is thinking. And again, that's kind of half the point of the opening, just to make your opponent think a little. But it's a proper pawn sacrifice actually. And again, I think this needs to be checked on the base, but this is a kind of a good fight. There are things happening here. We have the game. I'm not sure about knight c3. It is hard to tell but it's interesting. And here, Wesley, Maxime Marché-Lagrave played knight d4. That's certainly interesting, because I think maybe it's new.
Is it a new move, knight to d4?
It may very well be. No, it's not. Of course it isn't. It's so hard to find new moves in this line. Nigel Short has played it actually, and just a couple of weeks ago, even. And I can see that also Shiro has played it a couple of times. Shiro actually beat Magnus Carlsen in this line.
All right. Which year was that?
In Tal Memorial, proper game, in 2007. Many years ago.
Let's say that Magnus has improved a little bit in these last 11 years.
Yes. But this interesting play. I see that Short. The thing that normally happens here seems to be taking. And I think, well, the thing about this position is the backward c pawn. If you take on b3, you won't get rid of that backward c pawn.
No, you're not getting rid of it, and you're helping your opponent bring the knight toward the c5 square, which is a hole in Black's position. So if you look at the pawn chain of Black, the c7 pawn is a backward pawn because it doesn't have any friends, it doesn't have any buddies next to him, and the c5 square and the c6 square become vulnerable. Those are weaknesses in Black's position.
Yeah, that certainly is. I was just wondering, perhaps it was possible to play this, because if White could just play bishop e3 and rook c1, he would be so happy and put this one here. But he can simply go with the queen to c2, as I see that Svili did against Sutowski. And then this knight can come up here, and this will be a backward pawn forever. But the normal thing in this line is to play bishop knight here, and you have to move the rook. Just take, which is a little bit strange considering how many
moves it has taken for Black to capture an undeveloped bishop on c1.
Exactly.
Is this how Black should really play?
This is at c5. This was how Magnus played when he was 16 against Shiro, and this is how many others have played too.
So this is the main line, even though it looks surprising to play like this as Black. How many moves has it taken? 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I manage to count? Yes. I think it has taken us 4 moves to capture an undeveloped piece, which usually we don't recommend to any of you. But if it's main theory, well, sometimes it happens.
I think this is quite nice, actually. I think Marché-Lagrave is kind of succeeding with playing something creative, and which is just not a draw. It is possible, by the way, to return with the knight to f4. I'm not sure what the point of that is, but I just see that it has been played before. But an interesting battle ahead. And again, Anand is thinking, which we also like.
Yes. Shall we go and see the game of Sergei Karyakin? We have several tweets about that game.
Oh.
And as we have mentioned, the world champion Magnus Carlsen is hosting the TV2 broadcast of the Altibox Norway chess tournament today. His opponent Ding Liren had to withdraw from the event, therefore Magnus has an extra free day, and he's using his chance to be the main host on TV2. He said about the game of Karjakin that he thinks this is going to be the most exciting today, the Karjakin-Aronian game. And also there's another tweet from the broadcast that is from Tarjei Svensson, a Norwegian reporter. Carlsen said, "It's very surprising for me that Karjakin spends so much time because he must have had some idea here." So he's taking his time, and Magnus is surprised by the fact that is he hiding some kind of a preparation? Is he trying to recall something? Or why is he using so much time then?
Karjakin.
Yes.
Is it that much? I just have to go back a few moves.
The moment Magnus said it was after queen to e7, so it was a few moves ago.
Yes.
Still, he thought that since Sergei went for this variation as white, he was wondering what was the point of all this. Well, why did he enter this variation?
Yes, I'm not sure if knight bishop takes c3 is the most normal move, because I thought that bishop normally went back to d6.
Keeping the pair of bishops for black.
Keeping the pair of bishops, but it just took here. And then rook d8 is of course threatening to take here. It seemed like Aronian he must have been, he is the one who took on c3 and must have prepared it. So it's kind of understandable that Karjakin thinks a bit. Again, perhaps I should check if it's if this one is played before, because I don't know.
Both players have used the same amount of time, which is only surprising if you take into account that it is white normally who chooses the opening. Therefore, we believe that Karjakin did use plenty of time to prepare this variation, unless it took him as a surprise. But why would it be a surprise that Aronian goes for his usual opening? Well, he went for the Ragozin.
The Ragozin is kind of not a surprise. I was just wondering if it's a surprise that that he took on
c3 so early.
That he took on c3 so early. That's what I'm checking just now.
And what is your conclusion, Simon?
He took on c4 here. I haven't got there yet. It is not the most. Oh, Aronian has played it two times before, actually. Nothing new under the sun.
2 times, and also Magnus is second. Laurent Fressinet has played it. Sergei Movsesian has played it plenty of times. John Ludwig Hammer, the other commentator of TV2, has played it. So this is not a new variation, and therefore we really do believe that Sergei must have had something prepared against bishop takes c3.
Actually, it's the most common move. I thought it was common to go back to d6 in these lines, but I think that happens when white plays rook c1 very early to be able to take back with the rook.
So the idea behind capturing on c3 is to do it before the rook appears on the c file, so that I could have taken back with the rook on c3.
Right, which is a little bit strange perhaps, because you might think that taking back with the pawn with the quite nice strengthens the center and transform a b pawn to a c pawn, which is normally good. The thing is that this kind of Grunfeld-like pawn structure, if black manages to play c5, I think he has no problems, and I think that's the main idea. I think the main idea is to play b6 and knight a5 or something.
First, black will need to, of course, defend the d7 bishop. There's a pin on the a4 e8 diagonal. But once the rook is on d8, now black is threatening to capture the pawn on d4. Careful about the discovered attacks. Knight takes d4 is a threat. Knight e5, well, not knight e5, not so much, but knight takes d4 is clearly what black would love to play here. You need to move the queen away from this dangerous diagonal.
Absolutely nothing new under the sun. Aronian played queen e7 against Shankland, the new US champion.
Yeah, and he's having the best year of his life in
Yeah.
his chess career.
He just won the US champion before the three American aces, so Caruana and Nakamura.
Yes, impressive result. And Fabiano had such a great tournament, but it wasn't enough to claim the title this year.
No, I think Caruana was on +4, but Shankland was on +5 or something. And
I just wanted to point out here that I love the square A3 for the queen. It's not the usual square for where you would place your queen, but here
No.
the bishop on c4 takes the light squares, the control of the light squares, and you give another task to your queen, which is the dark squares. So a3, c5, it could head toward the c5 square. The problem is that black doesn't want to allow this, and he has played immediately queen to e7.
It's a nice square. It also kind of prevents c5 if it can just stay there. But Ariana did as he did against Shankland, just played this instantly. Shankland moved his queen to b2. That was also drawn. This game has been played 4 times. With quite high-level players. Wesley So has played it with black. And the normal thing is to take on e7, taking back. Is they're coming? So this is all well-known stuff. And actually rook b1 is the first new move. But this doesn't matter. This is not a theoretical position or something. This is just a structure. So it's not so important if you play this has been played, but it doesn't change the structure or anything. So this is just a position.
And that means that this isn't one of the days when Sergei Karyakin shows a superior preparation with which he would win the game, just like he did against Maxim Vachier-Lagrave in the Grunfeld. So today it seems that Levon Aronian came very well prepared, and he did manage to get just playable position. It's not something where you would be outplayed in terms of theory.
I'm a little bit surprised if rook b1 should be the really big thing you have, and is what you're really looking forward to play here. But or if that was prepared in advance.
Rook b1. Do you think this is still preparation?
I don't think.
He has used so much time.
Yeah, I doubt so. I doubt it.
Yeah,
but
I also doubt
it
it.
kind of should be, because it shouldn't be a surprise that Ariana plays this opening.
That's
but
true.
here, you think you did play rook c. I think you played knight c8, which is a kind of a tricky move. Because you don't normally see a knight on c8. That's very rare.
And you don't normally see your opponent placing all his pieces on the back rank, but it's
Yes.
only temporary.
There are no weaknesses in the black camp. And the moment he manages to play c5, he will be very, very happy. But I'm not sure if this bishop can go to a6. It's a little bit risk of being trapped in, actually. But so perhaps the most normal. But if it goes this way, then suddenly f6 and even f5 is in the air. Maybe f6 is the most natural thing. I'm beginning to like black's position, because I wonder where this knight is going to go.
Doesn't really have a good square,
No.
unless you trade it on c4.
We could go to c4. It's no worry. It's no worries. White is never worse or anything, but it's no opening advantage as far as I can tell.
Yes.
Especially if there
And
are
if I go
tricks.
to c4, bishop b5,
Right, bishop b5. Maybe that's
just trading everything.
or just maybe winning a pawn.
Am I winning a pawn?
Maybe.
Knight takes d6, bishop takes e2, and then you will take on f3 once I move the rook.
This is definitely not worse for black. It's
Oh,
only,
it is black who is playing for a win now.
yeah, I think you maybe can just take this one. If nothing else, you could take back two with either, but this white cannot play bishop c4, I think, or can
Yeah,
he?
knight to c4
Knight
doesn't
c4.
look like a good move, but it is also true that he doesn't have many other options.
This
Knight to
is
d3 and
Looks a
knight
bit
g4.
stupid, because where is it heading from there? So maybe
Oh, yeah.
maybe here then, to go down here, which is
I would rather go to g4 and
Right.
e3, yes. Also, you would like to somehow keep the control of the c4 square. If you place the knight on d3, it
Exactly.
gives up the c4 square, and that is an outpost for black. So if black can manage to place a knight on c4 or bishop b5, bishop c4, that would be just a really, really pleasant position for black.
yes. I wonder if this is advantage or not, because you may actually threaten for something for white, because you may perhaps be threatening e5, and destroy the white pawn structure a bit. And rook c8 is responded with. Then you can play rook a6, bishop a6, I guess. And c5 is possible, but then you can take it, I think. And followed by e5. But no
I
big
really
deal.
like your drawing, Simon. It looks beautiful with all the blue arrows.
Yes, I can even make them red. Which square do you want to point? Normally this is the key square.
I see that the concert hall is inspiring you. All these artistic demonstrations on the board. C4,
Yes.
red, weak square.
What black would love to get is white can, if he managed to play, make it green then. If he managed to play c5, and
How many colors do you have?
if he gets something like this, then we have this fantastic knight. Which,
Fantastic night and fantastic drawing. I'm about to print it and get a signature from you.
Yes, but it's not really that much happening there actually. I see that Anand did go with his knight to f4, which makes this game quite interesting.
Yes, and another quote from Magnus Carlsen. We are happy that our Norwegian reporter Tarjei Svensson is so active on Twitter so that we can quote the world champion. Magnus said, "Many interesting opening variations today. Variations that I have not seen on top level for a while."
Yeah, that's the thing, because even when Magnus hasn't seen it, it's quite cool. But perhaps he doesn't remember his loss against Shiro in 2007. Then.
I think he wouldn't consider his game from 2007 a top level chess tournament.
But bishop knight f4, that was the alternative. I think I shall check it again, because since it's actually played before a few times, it's actually the main move. It's been played 23 times. It's been played by Almasi a couple of times.
Almashi.
Almashi, that's your countryman.
Yes.
So that's how you pronounce it, Almashi.
Yes, we pronounce the S as a sh, like in sheep.
All right. He's played it twice. He played against Jan Timman, but many years ago. This was played in 2010. That's really long time ago.
In chess, it's a long time.
So,
8 years.
but this is really cool actually, because I'm sure Anand is slightly taken by surprise. Is then taken by surprise here. There's actually quite many moves being played in this position. Bishop c2 has been played. It would be nice to follow up with bishop b3 to prevent c5. Knight f3 is an option, because black will probably play c5 anyway, and it would be nice to go with end up with a knight on d4. But this again, they're thinking, and that's good. And here again, another interesting battle, very much actually. And now it's becoming a little bit dangerous for Wesley, so I would say. And the reason is that Magmediaro has sacrificed a pawn, and
He has just pushed the h-pawn.
Yeah, he's pushed his h-pawn, and he's done it fast.
Yes,
and
that is dangerous. Knowing how much Shakhriyar loves attacking aggressive positions, he would rather have material down, but the initiative. So, unless Wesley has this prepared, this is going to be a tough game for the American.
Absolutely. And I don't see anything wrong with going out to the knight, I must say. But perhaps then d5, and it's possible to win back the pawn on b5. And if that happens, then the c4 will also fall soon. So perhaps it's difficult for white for black to develop. But bishop b7 is the move that comes to mind.
Looks a little bit slow.
But here, just queen e8. That's not a move you normally see in this opening. Not at all, actually. It was something about getting away from the d line. But since Magmediaro is still playing quickly, so he seems to have prepared against it. Or maybe it's just playing quickly. He said that to us, that he likes to play quickly.
That is true. Magmediaro said that he thinks the time control is a little too long, and he would rather prefer rapid control.
Yeah.
The time control should be shorter for him, he said. There's another quote from Magnus Carlsen. We will be quoting him during the entire day. I feel like he said about the position after g6, even though So spent quite a lot of time here, we can be pretty sure he has seen this position before.
G6.
That is what the world champion thinks.
Who has seen it? Wesley.
Wesley. Well, I believe both players, but he also means that just because Wesley has spent already 35 minutes, it doesn't mean that he hasn't seen this.
Yes, I'm a little bit curious if Magnus has seen it actually. I have certainly not seen it, but if it has the world champion
Shall we shout and ask him?
Yeah. I'm checking now if this is played before.
In case you're wondering why we are looking there, the TV2 broadcast is just a few meters away from us, and as we have mentioned, Magnus Carlsen is the main host today, wearing a salmon colored t-shirt, I would say, matching with the gigantic ship behind Magnus.
I'm trying to figure out what's the novelty here.
Has there been any games with this position? G6, H4.
It has. If you go back here, this position has been played a few times. When he plays Bishop G5, that's been played by, for instance, Wojtacek against Giri and the big theoretician.
And Boris Gelfand, Alexander Grishuk, so many games.
Gelfand has played it, that means it's solid. But not everyone plays B5. Most actually just play knight BD7 here. So B5 is the kind of the sharp response because it keeps the pawn, it does.
Definitely. I would love to keep the pawn if I can, but I'm also afraid of being attacked, so I'm not sure that I would comfortably play this position as black. Unless you are very well prepared, and this could be the case. This could be the case with Wesley. So if he's hiding, that he actually knows this variation.
Yeah, it seems like he knows actually, because I know how much they know. And Wojtacek Giri was followed just by this move actually. Anish Giri played Queen E8, but not many games on top level with this line. It's basically that one game, and in that game, D5 happened. I need to check it.
So there's only one game where White played D5 on move 13.
Yes, Wojtacek played something like this, which is really special because he's then sacrificing another pawn, and it's really hard to understand what's going on. But that game ended in a draw. I think it was a big mess after Queen E5, and so this is just a position that's impossible to understand for humans, but it's probably very simple for computers. Typical computer chess, I think. But he played E4 instead.
Is this a novelty then, E4?
It's not a novelty.
Still not a novelty.
It's played by 3 players, but a couple of 2600 guys actually has played it. And then G6 is the new move. G6 is the novelty.
It is then the American Grandmaster who came up with the novelty, and maybe that's why Magnus says that even though Wesley has spent a lot of time, he doesn't believe that this is a sign of Wesley not knowing this variation. He could simply be hiding his preparation. And Magnus also admitted on the TV2 broadcast that he also sometimes during a game pretends that he is not prepared.
Yeah, Magnus pretends.
Yes, Magnus admitted that sometimes he pretends that he is not prepared.
I know about that actually. And when he's using all such kind of tricks.
Tell us about this strategy. What is the psychology behind hiding that you are prepared?
Because if he goes for something very, very sharp and you don't really know the line, the way to do it is to just play very quickly, pretend you know it very well, and you hope that your opponent fears and chickens out with something.
So that's the opposite. When you are not prepared and you are entering a very sharp line, you start speeding up, pretending you know that everything is under control. But here it is the opposite. Magnus means that Wesley should know this variation. He has used so much time to pretend that he doesn't know it.
Yeah, maybe something like that. G6, but the thing is that H4 came so quickly. That was a little bit of a surprise actually, that it came so quickly. And now Wesley did play knight d7. I was just wondering if it was possible because I saw d5. What's happening on d5? Because I saw, well, I guess it takes. You cannot throw anything because you just I take there and then will threaten things. So this seems to be the only move. I was just wondering what happens here. Maybe now is the time to throw in taking on c3.
At some point, I guess black will have to. If not, the b pawn simply is captured. A takes, knight takes b5. And even though the d5 pawn would be hanging after the trade of rooks on a1, the c7 pawn is also hanging.
This looks quite good for
white.
White, I believe. You cannot be sure actually because now we can take this one and the d5 pawn is also quite weak. But let's say.
But I think in the end of that variation, knight takes c7 was winning on the spot.
If I take here?
Yes.
I was thinking something like queen.
Oh, you don't take on d5.
I was thinking something like this.
This makes more sense. Bishop takes d5 should
and this
lose
actually
a piece.
looks quite good for black because if you take with the queen, there's knight b6
and then you capture on d5.
Possibly taking on b2
or b2.
Maybe it's as simple as that.
But I can take on c7 as well. We take all the pawns.
You can take all the pawns and then it's no problems for none of them. But the question is, could you take here first? Because then you have the rook still defending on d5. But then I thought maybe just something like this. It could be easily extremely solid for black, or maybe absolutely no problems. If that's the case, then you cannot play d5. And if but then what else? Because it seems like black can follow up with something like knight b6 or something, and force. He will very quickly just be a pawn up. It is possible to imagine taking back with a knight, but I can't see that it is doing very much, because if it just takes, for instance, this really looks like a pawn up for black. So maybe white has to play something like d5 and kind of go for a draw with the lines we just looked at. And then it wasn't that sharp actually with h4. If we have to force some draw just a couple of moves later.
Yes, h4 looks like a promising attacking move, but there's nothing really that you can do.
It's kind of just pretending being sharp and not really being it.
In any case, if black manages to finish development, that means that white should bail out. He's a pawn down. So white has to do something right now in order to keep the initiative and prove that he sacrificed the pawn for a reason.
Yes, I'm a little very curious actually what he will do. I don't really see an attack on the black king, not at all actually. Sometimes they play b3, but that cannot possibly be the thing here. I think that would be extremely surprising if b3 works. But sometimes you see they simply sacrifice a pawn like that, but not here.
Shall we go back to the other games and see
Yes.
the developments in the last couple of moves?
Yes, there are a couple of games where not much will be happening. Aronian, this game is just a structure, nothing special happening with Aronian Karyakin. And it seems like the same is the case also with Caruana Nakamura. It's just a structure, a long-term, nothing special being threatened. Black has no weaknesses. I'm not sure if the c-pawn is really a weakness, and I'm not sure if the double pawn is so weak either because it's so well protected and so on. and without a white square black bishop, the c4 pawn isn't really weak. I actually like the white position quite a little bit because it's so natural. The bishop is, it could go there, it doesn't have to go there, but it seems more flexible for black. Doubling on the B line seems to be the obvious plan, doing something on the queen side.
So you will play bishop to e3 and then bring the other rook as well to the b file.
And just feels like black sooner or later will have to play b6.
Yes.
And then it's very hard to drive away that knight on a5 actually. But so I guess I think black will play something like this, knight a5 and c5. And then he might actually be doing quite well. So perhaps white would have to play c5 at some moment. And then it's kind of double-edged because opening up the position is good for the bishop pair and dangerous for the black king.
You think he has to play b6 before white could push c5?
It feels so, but I don't know if he can get away without playing b6. Just if it doesn't, this pawn looks like a real weakness for a long time. I think sooner or later he simply has to play b6.
It would look natural to place the black pawn on b6, the knight on a5 as you have suggested.
Yes, but what's interesting here, maybe we should go to this game unless you have a tweet or something.
Oh, we have many tweets today.
Yeah, tweets all the time. But
we also have a picture from yesterday. So I think I would like to show that picture. If we can also scroll back to that tweet because it is from yesterday's boat trip.
Yes.
You haven't joined us, Simon.
No, the boat was I heard was full.
Yeah, but there were two trips, so there was a second boat, and you could have come with us.
The second one. Yes, maybe I should. But I'm kind of grown up with these fjords around here.
Oh, so for you it's not so special.
It's not so special actually, but it would have been nice being with you and the players and those others who are there.
See the players here: Vishiana, Maxim Vaselagraf, Sergei Karyakin, Wesley So, Shahriar Mehmedjerov, and Dingley Ran had a surgery here in Norway on Friday. He fell off of his bike on Thursday on the free day. That was really unfortunate. Broke his hip, had a surgery. He's recovering now. He's walking on crutches, but at least we saw him smiling on the boat trip. So I wasn't sure if he was allowed on going on an excursion, but he decided it was better than staying at the hotel.
Yeah, that's nice. And the thing is that this is really high-class tourism. People come here on the most expensive tourist boats.
Stavanger, you mean as a touristic attraction?
And the fjords around here.
Oh, it is amazing. It's so impressive here. And the view from where we are right now, here in the Stavanger concert hall, I wish I could just turn the camera and show a 360-degree view of what we can see from here. It is amazing.
Absolutely. The whole west coast of Norway is absolutely wonderful, actually. All the way up to the Russian border, actually. So that's a good thing to do.
Next time, if you are looking for a place to visit, put Norway on your list, and especially the west coast.
Yeah, there is this Hurtigruten, it's called in Norwegian. A boat goes, I think it goes from Bergen. I'm not sure if it starts in Stavanger, but you could start in Stavanger from Stavanger too, and take a speedboat up to Bergen and just continue with this Hurtigruten.
I would not know how to spell that.
I'm not sure what the boat. It's just a boat that goes all the way to Hurtigruten. Hurti means fast. Ruten is just I'm not sure.
So it's a Hurtigruten.
Yeah. The thing is that it takes 6 days up to the Russian border, and it takes 6 days back again, I think. So if you take it 4 times back, then you will see it all, because you have night and day at different. Then you will.
All right.
Because of that thing, because you won't see when you're sleeping. But if you go back again, you will see what you missed on the way upwards.
And of course, another attraction to visit in Norway is the Norway Chess Tournament, together with the Norway Summit. It is every year. So for next year, make sure to block it in your calendar so that you can see the strongest chess tournament in the world, which is the Norway Chess Super Tournament. And the Norway Summit also takes place every year during the chess tournament.
Yes, the Hurtigruten, that trip is really recommendable actually, even for Norwegians. I've done it once. I took it from Kirkenes down to Trondheim and it was absolutely wonderful. That was spectacular even for me. But
All right, we can do the three together, right? Norway Chess, Norway Summit, and the Hurtigruten.
Yeah, take the boat up to the Russian border and back again. That's a really great thing. The thing is that Agdestein is a place just a few, not kilometers, but some halfway up to Bergen you will find Agdestein, and that's where I spent all my summers.
I didn't know it's an actual place.
I went fishing here every summer around here until I was 18. I can choose on my own what to do. And
I believe we have a picture to show about the city of Stavanger so that everyone sitting at home can imagine where we are right now. The concert hall is there in the bottom left, I believe, in the picture. Yes, at the bottom left you might recognize a tall building that is the Stavanger concert hall. That's where we are at the moment. The last 3 rounds are being played here. If we look at the window, we see the bay area, the harbor, ships all around, splendid weather. We are loving it here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back to chess.
Yes, it's interesting
After this
stuff going
commercial
on
break.
on Varsjelagrav. That's interesting stuff, very much actually, and that's for sure. Because if you look at that position, a lot has happened. To me, it seems like White has achieved everything he can dream of, but it's a little bit scary with the pawn on g4. It certainly has weakened the king's side, but on the queen's side, he's managed to prevent c5, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not quite sure because sometimes black just sacrifices that pawn. But here it's a little bit hard to imagine that it's possible. But perhaps it is, because it surprises me very often that it might sometimes be possible despite being it looking not possible. But it looks to me that f6 is very much in the agenda here, taking advantage of the weaknesses on the f line. And then I'm wondering, or maybe f5 is maybe just as good, because perhaps white would have to take this anyway. And then I'm not sure what to take back with, because I would love to have that bishop here, but then this one is weak. And so I have to take with this one. Maybe this could be very good for white, because this pawn is quite weak actually, and the pawn on d5. The only thing is that I was wondering if something tricky will happen with the f4 square.
Mm-hmm.
If you just go back a few moves, the special thing was knight f4. And here I said there were many different options. Bishop c2, knight f3 was one option. And that's been played before as well. Bishop g4 has been played before. But that is, now we're talking, this is only amateurs who's played the bishop b4. So this is good. Now we're out of theory.
Which is great news.
Yeah.
We love to see something fresh, something creative.
This is natural. And here, Varsjelagrav was not worried about simply playing g4. The other alternative would perhaps be this one. But then perhaps c5 will simply be very good. I'm not sure about that either, because you have to take that one. You cannot let it go. I must just looks like winning something.
So if I pin the pawn,
Either with the one of the rooks.
yes.
I'm not sure. But it's something to be calculated for sure. But Varsjelagrav played g4, not allowing that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And now e3 is the obvious square for that bishop, because it's so essential to prevent c5.
Certainly, that's what white wants to prevent, to keep the c7 pawn a weakness, a backward pawn.
And now it's kind of black has to prove what it's got. Anand played a4, a5, which surprised me a little bit, because Shouldn't be difficult to do something about that. I think maybe a4 is a threat. And the most natural move would be to move this one, the a pawn 1 or 2 squares. The most natural, I would say, is to go with 2 squares. I'm a little bit curious about what Anand is doing here. But if you think of it, this pawn, the pawn on c7 isn't that weak, because the knight on e6 is so enormously strong. So it doesn't really matter if it's kind of a backward pawn, as the knight is so strong. And white should be extremely careful about moving this knight to play f4, because then suddenly c5 comes, followed by d4. So if you think of it this way, maybe it's difficult for white to find a plan. I don't know. Not sure what the ideal setup would be for white, actually. So maybe the black position is solid, and maybe it's an idea also just to go with the rook up to a6, protect the kind of crucial, I'm not sure if it's crucial, but protecting c6 square.
I like that idea that the rook can actually be useful on the 6th rank.
It's actually quite easy to see plans for white here, if you, for instance, imagine something like this. And I'm not sure if you can keep that rook down on c6. I think it's important because this is clumsy. Now it's the clumsy rooks are here have no prospects. So maybe it's very important to be able to play the rook down to c6 and double. But there are tricks here, maybe. This seems to be an ideal setup for white. But now it's incredibly hard to find a new move, another move for what's white's next move, especially after this one, because this
Knight to d8, and you will chase my rook away, but I don't have a square to return this rook to. How comes that you can trap a rook on c6? It looks like such an active piece, and suddenly there are no squares for the rook.
Maybe black is doing fine.
We initially thought that Maxime was smart with his choice, that even though he must have, well, I think the open Spanish must have caught him slightly off guard. It wasn't the main variation to expect today against Vishy Anand, so Vishy normally doesn't play the open Spanish, doesn't play that often.
It's so quite easy to see black ideas here. Queen definitely belongs on d7, and you could play rook d8, preparing c5, and then followed up by with d4 if it takes. And I don't see what white is doing. It's not so simple to play h4, because it first of all it can be taken, but even if it cannot, black can just play h5, I think. So I don't know what white is doing here, actually. At first I just thought, oh, this must be great for white, this prevented c5, but not so clear any longer.
Yes, I thought that we liked white's position initially, but not anymore.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with white's position for the moment, but it certainly looks like black is comfortable, and that's great news after the opening. Black usually should first equalize and then go for the compensation. Well, in this case, no compensation needed, but simply to try to take the initiative as black.
Maybe we have to admit that this bishop on b3 isn't kind of a really great piece after all. Maybe just play bishop c2.
And trade it so that the rook and the queen can have more squares on the c file.
Yeah, you need some squares here. But I'm not sure I really want to take here, because then perhaps black can simply take back with the f pawn. And then
I wouldn't like to see the f file opening up.
But maybe you have to anyway.
Open
maybe you have to accept it, and but putting the bishop on f5 is actually normal.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
I like it. Bishop to f5 and wait for the opponent to capture it, so there would be a g takes f5, a very strong pawn, and the g5 would open up so that you can attack the black king.
So now we're actually suggesting bishop c2 right away, but I'm a little bit worried about that rook, because if you go here, I think that rook is trapped.
Is it? Again, the rook on c6.
And you don't really want to go here, I think. That looks clumsy. Then see, but this might be possible actually. But it looks clumsy. Then maybe c6 is also possible.
Oh my! Are you saying that white has no time to play bishop to c2?
Well, I didn't. Well, a4 didn't look tempting. Oops. A5. Maybe I simply have to play this, but I don't see the difference because kind of black could just play b4 if he wants to, or queen here. He can do many things, even a4 and followed by b4 sometimes. If you could start with this move, for instance, I'm seeing lots of things that that black can do.
Yes.
Struggling a little bit.
That is comfortable for black.
It looks
Not so comfortable anymore for white, because you need to deal with the rook situation on the c5. It's not like it's trapped right now, but you cannot improve the position unless you manage to double on the c5. But if you bring your other rook to c1, that takes away squares from the c3 rook.
If you go this, yes, exactly. The thing is that this rook might be in trouble actually.
And
Quite
on the
soon.
other flank, what we see is that white has opened up his pawn structure in front of his king, h3, g4. But that's a commitment, and maybe there will be moves, f6 or h5, that challenges white's setup on the king side
the more you
and
look
attack
at
the king
the more
on
you
g1.
look at it, the more I like black. Just rook a6, maybe threatening already to trap that rook, and suddenly you swing the rook over to the king side somehow. This knight on e6 is really enormous.
That's a very well placed piece, yes.
Yes. Okay.
It's not the normal square for the knight, but in these type of positions with the pawn chain that you see, e5, d4, and for black a d5 pawn, it is really useful to use the e6 empty square for the knight.
Yes. We see in Wesley, so the thing we just looked at is happening. That is a kind of a little bit of a disappointment, because if it's correct what we just said,
Everything will be traded.
everything will be traded and quite soon too.
It started out as a very promising position, very much of a fighting spirit game we expected between Mamedyarov and So, but it could also be the fact, well, we can't really call it a fact yet, but Magnus did have the evaluation on this game that Wesley So was simply hiding his preparation. So he knows what's going on, but he has used over half an hour just to show that he is not so prepared.
Yes, I think this is absolutely fine for black. I think it just needs a couple of exact precise moves. For instance, rook c8 may look quite good actually. I'm really wondering what white will do then, because if it takes here, then certainly knight b6 and taking back with either knight or bishop looks absolutely like no trouble, I think. And it's also possible to take the pawn on b2 anytime you want, I think. And there are different ways here. Even c6 is an option.
It looks like Wesley So is doing fine. If he makes a draw, that will mean that Magnus Carlsen and Wesley So will be still the joint leaders. Magnus doesn't play today. His game would have been against Ding Liren, who, as we already mentioned a couple of times, has had a hip injury, fractured hip bone that was operated on Friday, but he is still recovering. It will take him a couple of weeks, if not months, to fully recover.
Yeah. But the most likely result of Wesley So's game today is a draw, and then we will go into the last 2 rounds, and Wesley So or Magnus Carlsen would need to win one of those games to actually win on.
Without a tie break. In case of a tie after round 9, we will see playoffs. Magnus is sort of a playoff specialist, so I'm not sure that he would mind playing the playoffs, but of course it's more prestigious to win a super tournament with a point lead or half a point lead.
Yeah.
Their opponents for the last 2 rounds, by the way. For Wesley So, it is Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, Wesley with the white pieces, and in the last round, Wesley is black against Fabiano Caruana. While for Magnus, it is Shahriar Mamedyarov tomorrow. Magnus will be with the white pieces, and in the last round, Magnus is also black against Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. So basically, the Frenchman will play against both leaders. It's in his hands, partially, to decide who wins the tournament.
Yes, and Mamadou, I think Magnus has beaten Mamadou lots of times. So Mamadou is really struggling with Magnus, which is good for...
Magnus has beaten Mamadou many times.
Yes, yes. I don't need to go and check that one. That's just something you know.
Sure. Shall we have a look at the... Well, I was going to say the Vachier-Anand game because I see a new move, or that was no new move?
Vachier-Lagrave?
No, still no.
No new move.
No new move.
He's still thinking. And he has things to think about too.
Oh.
Close for something.
Has just happened.
And in the two other games, no real changes, especially in the Caruana game. Things are going slow there. Absolutely nothing has happened actually since last time we looked at it. I think he's having a deep think about he has to find a plan. This is the type of position where you have to kind of make some big long-term decisions. I thought maybe knight a5, but it is possible to put that knight on e7 and
f5
up to
as
f5
well.
is quite natural too.
A5 and the f5 squares seem to be the way to go here with in terms of where to maneuver the c6 knight. Definitely you don't want to keep it on c6. We will come back with these games, and hopefully the world champion, potentially he's going to join us. We cannot promise it, but there is a chance that later on we will have a third new commentator for the day. His name is Magnus Carlsen, and he is one of the leaders of the Altibox Norway Chess Super Tournament. We'll come back after a few minute break.
Go-To Life is instant health in a bottle. Enjoy the experience of life, vitality, energy, recovery, and water in one water bottle, without the downsides of all those added calories or sugar. Go-To Life is a lifestyle product for wellness, recovery, and energy. It's water charged with a high level of oxygen. Using our unique technology, we make it possible to dissolve oxygen in water up to 10 times more than you normally find in your tap or bottled water. That could provide boost to your health. This makes oxygen water one of the most sought-after well-being and lifestyle products in the world. Find out more at www.gotolife.no.
I'm being joined by Mr. Sajid Rao and Mr. Ben Warner, two of our impressive, amazing, inspirational speakers. Those are my adjectives to try to describe what I experienced this morning at the Norway Summit, talking about artificial intelligence. And now we are at the Altibox Norway Chess Super Tournament, a chess tournament. How do you see the link between artificial intelligence and chess, Ben?
Well, I mean, I think that really the first chess was the thing that drove sort of public and awareness of sort of the breakthroughs in artificial intelligence back with DeepMind and Kasparov, and then recently as well with the sort of work that Google DeepMind has been doing around sort of AlphaZero, AlphaGo, beating Go, but also showing how you can build sort of chess engines that just learn by playing themselves and how that develops. So I really think the public consciousness is really driven by the breakthroughs in AI around games.
Rajit, how do you see the connection, and do you think that the developments in artificial intelligence will also influence chess and how chess players, professional chess players, prepare for the game?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, in terms of engines, yes, so I have two slightly different perspectives on this. One is historical and one is currently, how can chess players use AI? Historically, chess always had a massive role in the motivation for problems in AI. So back in the 1950s, even at the MIT Artificial Intelligence Lab and other places, they were looking at, the general thinking was this, saying, chess is what smart people play. Here we are starting to work on AI, artificial intelligence. So if we get a computer to play chess, wouldn't that be smart? So let's make chess a problem that we try to solve. And they were in for a surprise, because I think that what they figured out was that chess was easier to solve than many other problems that people don't consider to be generally intelligence, like tying your shoelaces or picking up a
Is it
picking
really
up a glass.
easier to teach
And
an
it is
AI?
much harder for robots to do that
Really?
than it took them. It took them much longer to conquer those problems than to play chess. So it kind of flipped the problem, and what we thought was easy was actually hard, and what was hard was actually easy. So we're seeing that separately. I have to say that chess playing programs, they conquered chess, but what the engine for the chess playing program turned out to be not that useful for other things. For instance, you can't use it for medicine. You can't use it to look at medical cases just because this chess playing engine is smart. They're completely different domains. So that was another thing that they didn't quite sort of get through. But, however, coming purely to chess and the impact of AI on chess, once sort of AlphaZero hardware, which it takes quite a bit of hardware to run. Once that becomes, the footprint shrinks and becomes much more accessible to every other chess player, then it's going to help them just like other chess engines have helped chess players.
I'm really curious to see how quickly this will develop and how soon we will have access to that kind of information that we have all been impressed in the chess community by the results of AlphaZero. But I don't know how quickly this will be a public mutual information. Do you think this is anytime soon that such data will be available? Or what do you think is the future here and how quickly it will arrive?
I can easily see somebody, I'm just picking a random example, like Amazon or somebody who has the hardware infrastructure, running AlphaZero on the cloud because they have massive hardware, and just making a very cheap subscription to it to any user who wants to log in and run their own sort of simulations on an AlphaZero for some cheap price. That way you don't have to have all that hardware in your home. So that I can see as fairly practical. It could happen. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, you can also, I think that it might not necessarily be the full algorithm, but using parts of the algorithm, using the breakthroughs that allowed them to do it, the reinforcement learning systems, the slightly different searches of the trees, that will propagate through. So, people will take those incremental inquiries and push them into, sort of computing hardware that people can actually access. Because like you mentioned, this AlphaZero is not trained on our Windows laptops, and but it costs millions of dollars to train.
I think we would crash all our laptops here if we tried to run it. I see one of the games has finished already. I wanted to ask you about the tournament and if you yourself play chess. Ben, do you play chess? Do you enjoy watching chess?
I have very much enjoyed actually the chess tournament, just seeing how actually chess is played at the sort of professional level. I play at a poor to mediocre level. I have been checkmated in 3 or 4 moves, so I would say I know how the pieces move, but I wouldn't say I play chess.
But you did make the first move in one of the games.
Yeah, I did, and that was an exciting moment because I did manage to make a legal move, which was my major panic.
Right, that's
and
a big
at that
thing
point, I
already.
felt I was successful. And actually, in the game, the player also made the same move as me, so I felt that he thought I made a good move. You know,
home run, home run.
exactly.
Yeah,
so I like to think I've helped at the top level of chess.
You did have, we are talking about Mr. Sergei Karyakin. Ben made the first move for Sergei, 1c4, and then Karyakin stick to it. So definitely you influenced him. How about you?
I'm fairly passionate about chess. I've been playing chess since I was 7 years old. And between the ages of, I think, 11 to 15, I would play 2 games every day. One is football, and then come home, shower, and run to the Russian embassy every day for 4 or 5 years, because the Russians, they had the best chess club in town.
Oh, you did go to the chess club of the
All the
Russian
Russian
embassy.
every day for 4 or 5 years.
That's an impressive story.
And then when I was 19 and I reached MIT, I soon became, I was the captain of the MIT chess team. But that's it. I was not playing competitively. By that time, I had stopped studying chess. There was no time. So these days, I just enjoy watching tournaments. I dream sometimes of competing in an open, but in order to even do that, I'd probably need at least a month of serious study to get into it. Otherwise, I don't even want to try, because then I'll end up beaten by an 8-year-old, and I'll feel awful. So, which happens a lot these days.
Yes, children are so dangerous.
Yes.
I'm afraid I will need to let you go because Levona Ronyan is waiting to be interviewed. I wish I could chat more about AI. I think I will need to use my break for that, because I found the Norway Summit fascinating, the 2 talks. I think it will be available online on the website of Norway Summit. So make sure to visit norwaysummit.com. In a few days, hopefully the videos already will be available, and I do recommend listening to both talks. I've been impressed by all your knowledge and how you have been informing us, people who, like me, have no idea about AI. I thought that I could understand it. So I really think that these speeches were very well thought and very well designed, also for a broader audience. And I do appreciate it that you thought about us average people as well.
No, thank you very much. I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
And enjoy the rest of the stay here in the Stavanger Concert Hall.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, we're back. Levon Aronian, you didn't seem to have that many problems today, did you?
Yeah, I was familiar with the line. After all, I think I'm the first player to play it.
You just told me that my base was outdated. You said you had played this line 3 times. But my base is kind of an online base. Is it some games that has fallen out on my base there?
Well, I think this position has occurred quite many times with the after rook of d8.
Yeah, that I've seen.
And
I
then,
think that's on my base too, actually.
Topalov played bishop e2 against me.
Bishop
e2.
Okay, I'm not sure if that base game is on the base, is it?
I think so. There has
All
to
right.
be a
All right.
transposition. But
Okay then.
and Vachier also, I think, played bishop e2 against me.
Uh-huh.
But generally, I mean, white is slightly better, but black should kind of neutralize slowly.
Is it important, or do we get a quite different kind of position if you throw in bishop c1? Is that kind of a completely different kind of position?
Excuse me, rook c1?
Rook c1?
It's one of the main lines, yeah, queen g6.
Queen g6.
Then you have an option, queen c2.
Right. So it's actually not so simple to be able to play.
I think Kramnik played like this against me.
But it's just completely different line.
Yes.
It's just a different line, right?
Yeah, bishop e2 is a line I played myself. I think Wesley took against me, and then I took with the queen. It was a year ago. And it's also, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it as well, because the queen on c4 is also not greatly played.
It's just a pawn. It's just a structure, no concrete lines, as you said. So it doesn't really matter what.
Yeah, I mean, basically, you're trying to play knight a5 and c5, whatever he does. So it's this kind of a Grunfeld feel to it.
Right.
And then definitely, I mean, if white puts the knight on e5 and plays f4, definitely you need to meet it with the g6 at some point.
If you play white, can you show if you manage to
I
play?
mean, for example, white plays something like this, and let's say, okay, bishop d3 or f4, and then at some point you either have to protect with knight c6 or g6. So you'll get a Grunfeld
This is.
in the end of the day.
This looks like something for white, actually, doesn't it? Or isn't even this something?
No, it's possible. It's possible that there's something for white. But black's play is very much like improved Tarash. I mean, you don't have to be an intelligent person to play it. Just knight c6, rook c8, so it's perfect for me.
Yes.
So I can just play simple moves.
We talked about your encounters before the game, and we've seen that you have played many fighting games. You beat each other lots of times, even recently. You seem to beat each other all the time.
Yeah, but I remember that 1 year ago we played exactly in the 7th round, and I was also white, and actually I wanted to win very much, and then at some point I underestimated my position, and then I lost to Levon, and finally I was in a clear last place. So.
Do you think it's scary to play on the 7th round with white against Levon?
Well, it's not. It's not that I was afraid, but I was just. I just didn't want to repeat such a tournament, and actually I think it was not that simple end game, and honestly speaking, I think that it was a little bit more precise to go knight c6, and here black is very safe because knight a5 is coming out, or if I take, then
Yeah, I just wanted to keep some pieces on the board.
Yeah, but here I thought bishop e2, king f8. I should have played some prophylactic move like rook b2, because if he plays rook c8, now I'm prepared against b5
But what if I play f6 after rook b2?
f6, knight g4.
Yeah, I thought about this, and
Yeah, I'm transferring my. Okay, you can always play c5. I will bring my knight to e3, or here maybe I have e5, but okay, you can play c5 immediately. But
yeah, probably
takes
right,
and
takes.
rook b1, f6. Knight g4, e5, knight e3.
But this is bad for me because of knight c4. I think maybe this is. I don't like this c5 actually.
Yeah, you have a choice, of course.
Rook b2 seems to make sense in different line series.
Yeah, I should have played this prophylactical move.
Do you have a plan, or is it just to stay here?
Just to keep the pressure.
Just to keep the pressure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe my knight c8 was optimistic somehow.
So, what about? Don't you normally play e4, Sergey? Now you played d4. We were thought perhaps you were had prepared something sharp, since you have all these sharp battles before.
Well, actually, we have played against Levon in the candidates tournament, and he played. He went to the very sharp line, which is very principal, and did x4. And of course, I was more preparing against this because Levon didn't play h6 like maybe 2 or 3 years already, and you cannot prepare very sharp lines against all the
it's not possible
openings.
There are sharp lines here with bishop h4 and so on, but that's gone out of fashion totally.
No, it's very fashionable now, actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because then you really have those long lines again, right?
Now,
but it's different story because there is no e4 already.
this is very fashionable.
Oh,
No, there is
like,
no e4.
like that.
Yeah, there is no e4 anymore.
Okay, this is not what I wanted to
This
play.
is what they do. They take on c3, they play c5, then it's very sharp.
This very sharp lines. Is it possible for you as black to play c5 just to get a very sharp? Then it won't be possible for.
Sorry, what
Here
should I play?
instead of h6. I think I read that somewhere. It's if you play c5 first,
Here c5 is not possible, I think.
isn't it?
I don't think so.
Okay, black doesn't normally play c5 here.
Okay then.
But it's,
I remember.
it has to be considered.
I just thought I had something in, if you take and then h6 or something, but then we are
Like
inventing
this?
sharp things. But probably my memory is wrong.
Yeah, I think it's the age that is playing a trick with you.
Yes, but I have a base. But
I have never seen anything like this in my life.
so then I have. Where do I have that from then? I thought I read it in a book. But what
Was
about
it a comic book or?
something like that? I'm not sure. Someone was fooling me, probably. But Sergey, you're a fantastic defender, everyone says, and you're having people call you the defense minister of Russia and so on. But what do you feel the pressure sometimes to kind of win more games, or how is it? Isn't it a little bit boring being a chess player? Yes, I think it feels quite stable. But do you feel pressure of winning more games from someone?
No, actually, I don't have this pressure. Actually, I think that many people think that I'm a good defender, but in fact, I don't always defend successfully. For example, in my game against Catalan, and actually, I think that this year is I don't have many bad positions this year as it was before, and I'm trying not to allow such bad things to happen. And just if it's draw, then it's draw. But of course it's hard to win against such great players. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if it's kind of possible to change style in some way. If you get tired of draws, is it possible to change and suddenly play in a different way, or is that a risk on this level?
Oh, well, it's not a problem to try to play some creative chess, but then you may have some bad results, and
you will risk having more losses.
Yes.
Is that worth it? Having more wins? For instance, Carana seems to win and lose more games, and it loses quite many games.
It depends on the style.
Relatively, yeah.
Yeah, it's and also it depends on your form. If you are ready for the big fights, of course, you should try. But if you are in a bad form, then you should play more solid. So
yes.
it depends.
Okay then. You have to use the chance again, as usual. If you can help me, then, because with the other games, I have a feeling that maybe the Mamadjaro game is maybe drawn already. But perhaps you can just give your consideration on these games.
Yeah, this is an exciting game. At least there's positional disbalance. So Somehow it should be better for white, slightly better.
Feels better for white. That's
But,
that's the intuitive first impression.
Well, it's very unclear, I think. I had a feeling that black was completely fine few moves ago, but now
95.
what he plays after 95 is hard to say.
Because you're threatening knight d7, which is important, I guess.
I guess the idea is to play bishop d6.
Oh. And just sacrifice because you can, well, knight d7.
Knight d7 looks risky. I don't know. Queen f3 or queen f4. sorry.
Queen h4.
Taking on f8.
Yeah, but
I
knight
think
f8, rook f8, and
Just play like this.
but king g2 maybe.
King g2, yeah. Aha. This rook is so bad, but it protects lots of threats.
I was a bit surprised by f6, I must say.
Well, it's very principled, no?
I was just wondering if they were oh, did they play f5?
Yeah.
Keep it.
Okay.
But I'm sure it was possible to play some rook b8 or whatever.
But this is very interesting. This is very principled for black.
Yeah. This seems to be someone may win this game because it seems like everything is on priest here.
Okay, maybe he'll play some rook d8.
yeah.
or-
Rook d8 is and then there's knight c6. I don't know. Tricks.
Yes.
All kinds of things happening here.
It's the most interesting game of the round, definitely.
That's the most interesting game.
It's the game of the year.
Might even be the game of the year.
Yes.
At this level.
I feel that Maxim is reaching his prime in this game.
In this game, you think he was worse before in this game?
No, but this is like this is his kind of position.
This is his kind of position. Cool. And then this position, which is also quite interesting, unbalanced. Well, if we just go back a couple of moves, we're talking here. I think he spent a long time and then he played e5. Good decision.
This looks interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, and very principle.
Because if he doesn't play e5, he can't do anything basically, or
It's a bit passive, yeah.
A bit passive. But it was possible to play 4 here, but that's maybe, I don't know.
Maybe too much.
Maybe too much. Okay, and then a quick estimate before there's another game finished.
I thought that white had this funny move, but with the idea of bishop f5, but then black has bishop e7.
Uh-huh.
So, and then it's probably all leading to very, very equal things.
Right.
So he played this, and I thought that bishop e7 looked really strong.
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't have found bishop e7 here if I hadn't found it there.
Yes.
So, and this looks, but he took. Now this somehow should be slightly better for white, somehow. I don't know how, but...
Is it hanging on b7?
But not this year. Maybe bishop b4 was not precise.
I'm wondering if it's hanging on b7, but okay. After
maybe
bishop e7.
Maybe he should have exchanged something first. You're trying to take on e7, yeah?
I was just wondering if it was b7.
Oh, b7.
No, but then the
Very
rook
creative.
end game is
It's
okay.
probably rook
Takes
and
rook
then-
b1, king c8,
Yeah.
and
Was also thinking
bishop f6.
right. Something.
White is slightly worse.
And that's and white is actually worse.
Rook e8, rook e6.
Yeah.
And rook a6.
But maybe he should just take on e7, rook e7, f4.
Okay. We can ask the players, of course, about this game. We have another game finished, but to just when Caruana plays a bishop move like bishop f3, bishop d3, and Nakamura instantly replies knight bishop d7, and Caruana just goes. It seems like they're prepared for everything. This has not been played before. Did they just even play this old preparation still?
Well, the
right?
point of bishop d3, I think white is trying to avoid b6 lines. Like, for example, here black has b6. And he's trying to bring the game towards this line.
Yeah.
So, but...
I was just wondering if they kind of had prepared, just ever since they prepared.
But actually, Hikaru plays this
You
line.
are well prepared in general against all kinds of surprises that may appear.
There has to
Hikaru
be a reason.
played it for both sides. So
why these players are rated
Well, you are
above-
sitting there and I'm sitting here.
Yes.
That's what you meant to say,
yes. Exactly.
Okay then. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for that one. Okay, we have another couple of players ready, I think. Thank you.
The second result
before-
of round
before
7 is
93.
between Shahriar Mamedjarov and Wesley. So, what did you think about the game today? Shahriar, I will ask you first, as you had the white pieces.
Okay, I think I want to play really is good and fighting chess, but I just play this line because I think firstly I forget everything. When he plays b5.
You sacrificed the pawn, but then
And
you forgot it.
yeah. It is normal things, yeah. And for me, it is normal. Sometimes I give you pictures and after I forget, not only pawns. Yeah, and okay. I play e4 and g6, h4. I think okay. I give him pawn, and it will be very interesting. Is where if he will back bishop e7. I don't know what to do, but maybe it looks h5, bishop g7. It looks very interesting. I think he need to also play for. Okay, for him his draw is okay, but also if he will get some chance, he will play for win.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. It looks quite risky because I'm not really starting to develop my knight yet because of the pawn b5. Yeah, but probably it's good for black.
Yeah,
because white, the bishops protect me.
Yeah, now I don't know what to do for white. But know how attacks.
Yeah, e5.
E5 looks because I can play e5 immediately, right? I think this is
not good. Yeah.
not good. I think
Knight c6.
knight c6. Also, it is moves maybe no, because
maybe.
take it knight e5. Maybe you can take it.
Knight
less.
e5.
Maybe I don't
Then
know.
I'm slightly better.
Yeah.
So, Shahriar, if you say that you forgot the variation, let me ask also this question to Wesley, because we were guessing. Did you use time to show that you are not prepared, even though you were prepared? Magnus was guessing that you must know this variation.
Who, me?
Magnus was the main host of the TV2 broadcast, and he said that he thinks that you were using time to pretend that you don't know the variation.
Well,
Is he correct?
For today game?
Yes. No?
Well, the thing is, I didn't expect Shaq to play this line bg5, which has been played by Gelfand before. And I look at this line before because I think it has been played maybe 1 or 2 games in Queen e8. But the point, I looked at this many months ago.
Yeah,
So
e4.
I also
you,
don't
you knew
remember.
something about it, or you didn't remember?
Yeah, I knew this is the main line, Queen e8. And then some tricks like this. And here, very important, Queen e5.
Yes,
Then-
Simon has showed it on the broadcast.
Yeah.
Is Giri played against?
Giri, yeah.
Yeah, it's Radislav in Shamkar. I see. Only I remember. I
Shamkar?
see they play
Yeah.
near me.
It's very Shamkir, huh?
Yeah,
That's why
yeah.
you know very well.
Yeah.
And Giri is very good at pressing the space bar.
Yeah, after Queen E5, I forget. It's,
E4, D4, I think some line like this. Because, I was calculating this line actually. Then I think this was Giri game, yeah? A, B,
I forget. I forget.
some rook B7, and then draw. But then, so I wasn't sure.
So it wasn't a psychological trick to think longer. You really needed to think to recall your analysis.
Yeah, because here, I mean, this line is very forcing this B5 stuff. And here I have some quieter options, like A5 or knight BD7, if I want to play safer. But here it's very forced because, Queen E8 somehow is the computer move. I think that the reason is that Queen E7, E4, G6, AB, AB. The pawn on B5 is hanging, if I can take. So Queen E8. E4, G6, H4. And Shaq played very fast this H4. So I knew, he has some ideas. And I thought briefly about Bishop B7, H5.
Believe me, no ideas. Just no idea.
You just play fast.
No, but sometimes when you play bad tournament, you want to play just fast and to go attack. Okay, just go and. Today for me it was not important to win, to lose or draw. I mean, I go just to play.
To play.
You just wanted to go all in?
All in like it, but because it's only chance. If you want, I want to do something. But,
you have to bounce back at the tournament and have some chances.
I just want to go to fighting chess, but he plays this knight d7, and after I understand, if I will not get this pawn, he will knight b6,
or b4, a5.
It's a very bad position, and I was very angry in this position for Westy, because if he don't want
you
to
were
play...
angry at Westy.
I mean, if he don't want to play for win, I agree, draw is draw. I calculate here, it will be draw. When I change everything, it looks like draw position immediately.
So you think that after knight d7, the best that white can do is to go for this trade-off pieces?
Yeah, because he want to play easy chess. Next move is knight b6.
And luck is alright.
A5, knight b7.
And he give me pawn if you want. Take. Draw is I think 10 minutes. I think what to do? Knight b6. And of course, this draw is good results normally. But today, really, I want to play. But I mean, it's okay for me. Just change, and it will change. Change everything.
So white wins back the pawn, but plenty of pieces have been traded, and that's why you were disappointed that there's no winning chance here in this position.
No, of course, easy. I think you will change.
Really? Queen c3?
Just take.
BC?
Knight b6.
Knight e5.
Rook d8.
Rook d4. Some problems.
Take d4.
Rook d4.
Yeah.
Because if I take
just take
knight c6. No, knight c6.
I think it's just an easy draw.
No, bishop d5, knight c6.
I think it's an easy draw.
How?
No,
Not
I mean.
so
Yeah, because I'm pin knight d5, knight c4.
It's also draw, yeah.
But I'm pinned.
Double pin.
Yeah, I was gonna thought some quite unpleasant.
Maybe why, yeah.
So this would happen in case of bishop takes c3 or
I think it's a draw.
20.
Rook b7? Also draw? Yeah, but some...
No, I think. I mean,
Okay.
of course, maybe I
rook
need to
d7.
play this move.
Knight a5.
Knight 5 or rook d6? Just
Knight a5.
a5, yeah. Knight a5.
a5. I might lose a piece.
Again, yeah.
This doesn't look very tempting for black. So you didn't want to play bishop takes c3 because of this position.
Yeah, and I might lose a pawn.
Yeah, okay, I think it's draw, but okay, it was
b6,
my
yeah.
mistake. Yeah, okay, and now I need to play d6, yeah?
Because, I was thinking...
Because you will take it, c3 now. Okay, and just take. Of course it is, it's okay.
Yeah, rook d8 and also.
Yeah, it's take and knight e1, knight e2, it's draw now. Yeah.
Yes, I think,
We play correct chess, normal chess.
correct. Very interesting chess, But I think bishop b7, h5, bg7 would be very unclear position. I mean, I was a bit worried. Maybe g4, g5,
Yeah,
stuff,
maybe.
yeah.
Why not? Yeah.
Why not? Huh?
Yeah, of course. Looks
This
nice.
would have been in case you don't want to give back the
Also,
phone.
also in Belgium, you're coming, right? So in Belgium, we play this in Blitz. Yeah?
If you want, okay.
Starting position for Wesley and
The
Shaq.
starting position.
If you promise me, I agree. Yeah?
But do not check with engine. I
No,
also
but
won't
you,
check.
but okay, come on. Okay.
The new arrangement here between Wesley and Shaq, of
Yeah.
course, is a joke, but
I mean-
we would love to see this in a Blitz game.
Yeah,
Maybe
very
after the
interesting.
closing
No, I can.
ceremony.
If he agree, okay, we will
Can
play.
we have you two after the closing ceremony playing this position in a Blitz game?
Yeah. Yeah. So
No,
after.
okay. But maybe it's better in the tournament.
Yeah, in fact, I was looking at crazy stuff like this. Yeah. B3, Queen B1. But I don't know. I mean, two pawns up. That's probably just bad for me. Yeah.
Better maybe before knight b1.
Knight B1.
Yeah, because it's b3, it's same queen e2
Queen
and knight e2. Yeah.
Yes.
His queen is better here.
Yeah, and then you.
And then the knight will come as
compensation.
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, so knight b1. Yeah, the thing is, I need to develop my knight, but here it's very bad.
Yeah.
Knight b7, knight b2.
So you decided to give back the pawn, and as you saw that this was going to be a simplified position and the draw is okay with black, especially since you keep your lead. You are still leading with Magnus Carlsen with 2 rounds to go. How do you see your chances of winning the tournament? Or do you think about it at all, or do you just focus on the next game?
Well, I don't really think about winning the tournament. I mean, right now I'm tied for first, yeah, with +1. But +1 is, not that special because usually you need +2, +3 to win first place. Yeah? But I just take it, one game at a time. Because even if you're leading the tournament by clear first, and then just one game can change everything. Yeah, one bad move can change
That's true.
everything in the tournament. So even before this tournament, I think no one really knows who's gonna win first place. They just want to give their best chess, see what happens.
So true. And we saw Magnus suffering at this event last year and also 3 years ago. So it happens also to the world champion. Just because it's his home turf, somehow it doesn't seem to give him that much of a good luck.
Yeah,
Although
3 years ago he lost to Hammer, yeah, for last game.
final touch. I think he wants to forget that game already. Thank you for the analysis, and before we let you go, can you please have a look at the remaining games and just let us know what you think about it? Which color would you pick?
Well, first of all, the Caruana game, is this the position? Yeah, I think White's fighting for draw, yeah? Because he's pawned the, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think White is slightly worse, yeah? Because I checked chess bomb.
You did check it.
Yeah, Abby has her, yeah. So,
Alright, we don't have engines on, but Wesley knows the evaluation.
yeah, this is White slightly worse, but yeah, here I don't know what's happening. Queen F5. Why did you play Queen F5? So
That's an interesting way to bail out.
what? He sacrificed the exchange.
I missed this part of the game as well, so I'm puzzled by what's going on here.
But why he not play queen h4?
Queen where?
But the
H4.
bishop on b3 is going to be trapped. I
Rook,
mean,
rook,
the
yeah?
rook on b3 is just trapped.
Queen h4 is bad.
Queen H4. Yeah, to take
No,
the
but I
pawn.
think it's better to play bishop d6, not just back and
Knight D7, Queen H4,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
give checkmate.
yeah. It
Yeah.
looks nice, but he not play bishop d6.
Bishop D6, maybe Rook B5.
b5 maybe now.
Bishop E5.
Maybe bishop take e5, queen f3.
Yeah. That
That's no queen d1.
these pawns are very weak, yeah? G4 H.
Okay, yes. Interesting.
Yeah. Probably black slightly better. C4.
Immediately c4, rook c3. Yeah.
Or take first.
Why you take?
Rook C3 first.
No. Okay, I mean same maybe. No? It's not
Yeah,
same.
take.
So how will the position be
maybe-
after black wins back the exchange?
King takes, yeah?
Maybe not take. Maybe e3. Stupid move like. Not take. Maybe not take f7.
You don't take F7.
Yeah.
And if you don't take it, what's the difference? A3 immediately?
Because White has
Brazil,
the
yeah,
option to
d5
take,
pawn.
yeah. D5
Important d5 pawn.
Alright.
Takes us. Maybe black is winning position.
You think so?
And take d5.
Huh?
Take d5. You vote the queen d5. Is lose b5.
Lose to b5.
Yeah. After e3 is winning maybe for white.
And black didn't have time to capture an f5 first.
Okay, maybe not winning, but I mean good
C7,
chance.
yeah.
Yeah. Why you need?
I think black has to play c4, otherwise it's just an exchange down.
Maybe he
but-
miss it.
Also a4.
Also, it's possible to take d4, no? Pawn take d4.
And just this.
Rook take e4, and knight c5 is coming. Maybe I don't
You
know.
have to go bishop c1. That's a funny move.
Yeah, what's this?
Bishop e1 maybe. Also is coming.
Black wins.
Knight coming.
Oh.
That's nice.
Yeah, looks very dangerous for white. Yeah, so cd4 or c4 look very. It seems like white's fighting for survival.
White fighting for survival. That's your evaluation. What about
Take
you,
d4.
Shak? Do you think the same? This position is very
I
suspicious for
think
white.
I don't like the Vichy move c5. I think bishop d6. It was. It looks very nice for black because black needs bishop in d6. I mean, this
Instead of
things,
c5, you
yeah.
would have gone bishop.
Yeah, I don't like.
So you mean
After knight 5.
Here.
Bishop, yeah, of course bishop d6 and queen. It looks very nice. But c5 I don't like. After
May-
c5,
Maybe even this stuff, yeah? I don't know. Queen f3.
but this looks very h3 maybe.
Queen.
No, I think I can play bishop c7 after t takes c5.
And then just try to give check.
Yeah, his queen is very important. Bishop is very important. It looks very good for.
Vichy has
maybe-
just played c takes d4.
Yeah, it's the same. I think it's now it's possible to play is also move e3. It's just moves like it.
Here?
Yeah,
Ah.
same. Problem is now is
Knight rook b4.
yeah, and take d4, f7,
Knight b3.
rook d1.
Draw, huh?
Yeah, okay, draw. Yeah. Now is it,
But also rook b4.
but the rook. He take and same. Yeah. I just
b4.
maybe he will take.
Bishop d2.
I mean, okay. Yeah, black is.
d3 is come.
Huh?
Bishop b4, rook c2.
Yeah, bishop e2, rook c4.
Yeah, he has to take on b4.
The queens have been traded on f7. And
Yeah, okay.
bishop c.
Draw.
Draw.
No, but draw. I don't know draws, but I mean black is.
Black better, yeah? But what he play
You think
a3?
black is better?
It is. Maybe b3.
D. Let's see, huh?
Knight c5,
A rook
Take.
b4,
take.
bishop d4.
Knight b3 is draw. No? You see.
Yeah, draw.
Yes, we
d1.
go. Yeah. It's draw. Take, it's a draw.
So the only game that has a potential decisive result is
Yeah, so
Yes.
Magnus can be happy, yeah, because
Fabiano's
maybe
game.
all games will end in draws. Yeah. But yeah,
Would he
this
be
look-
happy to see that?
Exhausted.
I think white can hold there, this one.
It's a draw. No?
But you got weak
No
pawns.
pawn. Huh?
You got double pawn.
It's okay. It's draw.
Who cares about those double
Double
pawns?
pawn. Just draw. Okay. Yeah, so maybe all will draw.
Thank you for your evaluations.
Thank
My
you.
really final question, because I forgot to ask
Ah,
before,
yeah.
is how you enjoyed yesterday's boat trip on the free day.
Me, very good. Relax. I walk in city in Stavanger. I walked yesterday 21 kilometers.
Wow.
in
21
Stavanger.
kilometer walk.
Yeah, I just walk, not what to do.
Uh-huh.
Just walk and back hotel. I mean, very nice, very good, and everything is very nice.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to spend the free days. Have some exercise, recover from the. But the yacht thing was very good because the organizers were very kind to. They really do it for the players, for players to enjoy Norway a little bit, because most of these tournaments they don't even host a tour for players during rest days. It's more like work.
Yes, so
Yeah.
sponsor events.
Yes, yes. So it's very rare these days for tournament organizers to do something nice for the players. So this is really good. And then we also had the dinner. And I think the chef had the Michelin star, so it was great stuff.
Excellent. Thank you for your analysis. We wish you good luck for the remaining 2 rounds.
Thank you.
We'll go for a short break and then we are back with the remaining 2 games of round 7.
Go-To Life is instant health in a bottle. Enjoy the experience of life, vitality, energy, recovery, and water in one water bottle, without the downsides of all those added calories or sugar. Go-To Life is a lifestyle product for wellness, recovery, and energy. It's water charged with high level of oxygen. Using our unique technology, we make it possible to dissolve oxygen in water up to 10 times more than you normally find in your tap or bottled water. That could provide boost to your health. This makes oxygen water one of the most sought-after well-being and lifestyle products in the world. Find out more at www.gotolife.no.
Welcome back to the broadcast. This is round 7 at the Altibox Norway Chess Super Tournament. The third game of the day has just finished. It ended in a draw between Fabiano Caruana and Hikaru Nakamura. They are going to join us shortly, but before that we will analyze the remaining game between Maxime Vachier-Lagrave and Vishy Anand.
Yeah, that's the big game of the day actually, and it's a big fight going on. And it seems like Vachier-Lagrave has made something stupid, because he seems to be in big trouble just at the moment. And it seems like the critical phase was just around here. That was when we had the guest, when you had a guest, and fortunately I was not here on my own then, because then it became really messy around here. C5, this really messes things up. Don't know what the computer says, but I heard what Mamedyarov said. He said he didn't like C5. I think he liked
Bishop D6
Bishop
instead.
D6. But I thought that was just winning an exchange.
I think he wanted to give up the exchange. Queen F3.
Isn't this just an exchange? It's still a little bit difficult to defend that one, perhaps.
Could
it is.
be the
It's
case.
certainly difficult. It could go here, but then it might be hanging. Or it is hanging, but everything would be hanging then.
We will have a look at the game between Maxime Vachier-Lagrave and Vishy Anand in more depth shortly. What we are going to do right now is a quick technical break, 10 seconds, in order to have Fabiano Caruana and Hikaru Nakamura with us talking about their game.
Welcome, Fabiano and Hikaru Nakamura. It's a little bit funny because we have the base open here. We just started being a little bit more scientific, and the first game that appears after Bishop 3 is your games against Vachier. But you don't remember?
Yeah, I mean, now that I see it going, now as I'm going through it in my mind, I can kind of remember the game a little bit. But still, I forgot that I'd even played this. But obviously, I mean, I didn't play the same thing the way you played. I had something better prepared, I think.
So you just played Bishop D3 against Vachier. That was in a rapid game, I think, in 2016.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
And since you don't remember it, does that mean that it wasn't kind of a big preparation thing when you played Bishop D3 with white?
No, I mean, I don't think so. Also, it's round 2, which means this was after the first round game, and I think I had already drawn in the first round, maybe against Adley or someone. And I think the game started almost right away. So no, I mean, this was not preparation. I think in rapid, having big preparation, I mean, it's a bit questionable unless it's like the first round of a day, basically. Like if it's like first round of a tournament, or the first round of like say the first day, second day, third day, then yeah, maybe you have something prepared. But this was not preparation for the game, not at all.
So you just played Bishop D3 by random kind of, but now Fabiano plays Bishop D3, and you seem to know exactly what you're doing. Because you played very quickly Bishop D7, which was Bishop C6, which seemed to be new. a new compared to what has been
I
played
thought
before.
Bishop D7 had
No,
been
Bishop
played.
D7 surely has been played, no? But probably not by anybody good.
If you use that mouse over there,
By somebody, okay. Stupak.
we're having the online
I know,
base
this
open
was actually
on
a
the.
beautiful game. So I saw this today. There was a game, and I saw the ratings of the players were 147
well-
and 126. And then I figured that these must be British.
Sorry, what did you see?
Yeah, the ratings, yeah.
We're using two computers here.
Yeah.
On the one we have the online
Yeah.
base.
There was this game.
But yeah, it is British, yeah.
And between players who were in the database are shown as 147 and 126.
They have 147 in rating, and that's you prepared with that one.
No, I mean I figured that these are British ratings, so I guess this is
Oh,
around like 1700
British rating.
or so.
Oh,
Yeah, 100 is yeah, like 17 or 1800, yeah.
So they're
Yeah.
decent players.
decent players. That's
But-
not bad. They prepared with some British.
But okay, here,
Also,
yeah,
this
you
was
deviated,
an
yeah.
amazing game from White. I mean, White played like such an amazing
We
game.
need to show it here on this one. What
Yeah,
you're
what you
talking
mean
about?
before you mean?
Yeah, he played Bishop before, and okay, Black played a bad move.
Yeah, I mean, if you get this, this is the dream, of course.
That's
yeah.
C6.
Yeah,
That's not
I
the
mean-
point with Bishop D7.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
Bishop
point is
C6, yeah.
All I knew about this move, because it's a rather rare move, and
Bishop D7 is rather rare.
is that I should play this and should go for the Sendine.
Yeah, but you played so quickly still.
Yeah, I mean, I just knew that this-
Despite it hasn't really been played before, but you just analyzed it. That's what you mean.
I wouldn't say I'd analyzed it. I just knew that I should go for the Sendine, and that was the extent of my knowledge.
And that's about it. It's no
Yeah.
more computer
I mean,
things than.
I thought it would be a pleasant ending, but yeah, I guess I was for sure out of any knowledge here, and I guess soon we were both.
Yeah,
on our
Rook
own.
B1, I mean, I'd looked at D4.
You're both out of preparation, obviously.
After
you
Rook
are.
B1, yeah. I'd looked at a bunch of stuff with D4, but I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I
that's
was thinking
for
about playing this
another
first
day.
and then playing another move, but I thought the
Right.
Rook B1 is anyway the move I want to play. So yeah, and the point of this is
Yeah, E5 's not
E5 is
possible.
very bad because of Bishop E4.
Right.
And,
Makes sense.
And okay, Knight A5, C5, B6 is playable, but very, very difficult to play because it is very tactically risky. So I think he.
Yeah, I mean, without prep, you can't play this. I mean, I bet the computer will say it's completely fine for black, even this, but it's like if you don't know what you're doing, you can't play like this because it just it
We
looks
were saying
too-
here that
too
was the kind of
questionable.
natural setup for black. But then when you started thinking, we thought perhaps it's an option to put the knight on F5 as well. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's
E5
very
looks good,
it's
but
very
I mean,
slow though. I mean, even if I get the knight to F5, it's just very
Yeah,
slow. It doesn't do a whole
Then
lot.
white is just better.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I mean, I
then-
thought G6 was a good move just to try and play for E5 because if there are no issues with some Bishop G5 or Bishop E4, then I think it should be fine.
Yeah, I think this is a good practical decision.
Was it possible to prevent E5 somehow?
Well, there's
Yeah,
maybe
there's
F4
F4
or Bishop
F4.
E4 maybe. But
Bishop before I thought that.
yeah, I was just gonna play F5
Yeah.
actually. And
I mean, I don't know if I can
force
hope for
endgame.
anything here.
yeah.
Maybe something very slight, but I had a feeling it would turn into nothing.
It's hard to believe in this.
But who's the worst bishop if you play C5 and F4 in such a structure?
You mean how
Ah,
do
you
I
mean
get
who-
it though?
If you
Because
close in,
C5 will be met by E5.
Yeah,
no, but
that-
you can get this maybe because after Bishop E3, I probably played Bishop G7, I assume, and then you can go. No, C5, E5, and F4,
Yeah.
C5. Yeah, no, you can't.
If I
you
wanted, I
can't
should
get
play
it. Yeah.
C5 here, right?
Yeah, but E5
if
I'm just not sure about this.
takes.
It looks fine for black, yeah.
Yeah,
does it? Is it or is it like a pawn
I
up?
don't
Well,
know.
even
it's
if
hard.
black plays like Rook D5, Bishop B6, and just brings the King to E6, it could suit
yeah,
better
yeah,
for black
yeah.
as well.
Yeah. This
Because
should
you
be
can't
fine.
really invade on the B line because
so,
that's
so many
strong.
weak pawns. I mean, my structure.
Yeah,
is
that's
so-
the point. Yeah, a 4 E5 looks nice, but yeah, I mean everything is split. A2 C. Yeah, it's just black has to be.
But
fine.
the question then is F4. That was kind of the last
Well,
chance.
I thought that
was
this.
it?
I thought that this would happen, and I can sack a pawn, but it's difficult to decide on this.
If you take on C6, B6, what do you take back with?
I take with the A pawn. Yeah. No, but I mean now black
Plus
probably
I
is
don't-
better.
yeah.
Black is better already here.
I don't know, but I mean now you have no attack really. I mean, and D4 is too weak, so you
Yeah,
can never go
F4,
C4. Yeah,
F4 looks like a big weakness as well, so I didn't like this position.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, here I should find another move to sack the pawn, and
Rook
but I
D5
couldn't see
or
it.
if it takes, or
Well,
not here perhaps, but
Rook-
just King E2 or something.
Yeah, maybe
or-
King
yeah.
E2, and I just wasn't quite sure. Rook
Then-
B5,
yeah, Knight B7.
Knight B7, yeah, Knight C6, Bishop B4 maybe is annoying. So Knight B7, and Bishop B3, but
You don't seem to have that many pieces to attack with, or what?
Well, if I get one more move, it'll be a very strong attack. But
And if you take on d4, you can attack back with the bishop.
Yeah,
so
now-
not that.
now G6 doesn't look so great. But maybe there's something better here.
Can I just play bishop G7 even? Just ignore it? Rook
And then-
B1 and just take on
and
D4?
CD4, yeah. And
I don't
here-
know. And D3? Bishop A4? Yeah, this might be.
Supposed to
might
be,
be.
yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry, it's just mate one. Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
have to
of
play
course,
c5.
yeah. No,
Or-
I mean,
or
okay, this is
C6,
losing.
but-
Yeah, okay, this is
not
losing.
gonna be
Yeah.
great.
No.
Yeah.
So maybe this is the way I should have played.
I mean, I also don't have to take though. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Like taking is the aggressive way, but I mean, even here, I can maybe just I don't know, play bishop E7, maybe just ignore it.
But maybe this is what I want, yeah, and then bishop E3 next.
Yeah, this is starting to look a little bit better for white.
Maybe F4 is the
probably.
correct move. Yeah, so
And, okay, so yeah, so if I take, rook
So this
B5,
really-
knight B7. I mean, because knight C6, bishop E4 should be bad, right?
and this I take, yeah.
Well, but now there's yeah.
C6 rook B4.
No, this is bad.
This is
I can't go
probably
knight
not
C4.
great.
No, I have to go knight B7 and then yeah, bishop E3. And now I have to find something. Yeah, this is not easy actually.
c6 or something.
Yeah, C6, rook B. Probably rook B2, right? Because rook B3, I can go C4 and just,
yeah, and then knight D6.
yeah. Actually, I can go C4, rook B2, bishop A3 even. I can
Ah,
force
yeah,
you to put the
yeah,
rook on
yeah.
B1. So yeah, you have to go to B2.
But here maybe you can take and play bishop. No, bishop A3, rook B3 doesn't work. And what if you try the same? Just
Yeah.
because you have rook D7.
Bishop E4. Ah, but bishop A3. Just in time, maybe. Yeah. Okay, but I've got king C6 and knight D6.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
so.
probably I should go knight D6 first, probably, instead of king C6.
It'll probably turn into some sort
Yeah.
of draw.
Yeah, I mean, with the double F pawns, it's hard to believe. I mean,
This could be the critical move because at least Black will be forced to take some difficult decisions here.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. 'Cause I think after I got an E5, there's probably just nothing at all for white.
Yeah, this is a good move. I just kind of, when I played king E2, kind of thought that here I would have rook G1. Because the bishop F5 is a very strong threat.
That was mentioned by some of the other players here.
Yeah, but then bishop E7.
That was also mentioned actually.
And this is just a draw.
Yeah,
D8.
yeah, rook D8.
And here I thought knight E7 is accurate, and then knight D5. And probably also going to be a draw, and everything's hanging.
It felt like you weren't really struggling to get a draw, but it felt like you were slightly worse.
Well, yeah, that's the point.
yeah.
I think it's.
Yeah, here
You thought for a while here,
I really didn't want to take on B7, but here I couldn't equalize it after F6.
which looks.
I was like trying this and to get something, but I didn't fully believe in it. And even if like rook F8, I wasn't.
Yeah,
sure.
rook F8. I think is what I was going to do.
Yeah,
Just
and
just
then, like, knight
make sure
F5,
there's
yeah.
nothing. Yeah.
It
No, I
started
think
to
this
look
is
really
this is dangerous.
So I decided just to.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to go for this ending. It's a bit sad, but it's probably just. a
It's
draw.
also just, I mean, it's just a draw because my pawns are too weak. I mean, at first I thought maybe I could play, but then, I mean, I go like some rook B, I mean, I wanted to go rook B6, but just rook B6 here, but then just rook F4. And if I have to go F5, H5, everything's going to be too loose in the long
Yeah, and
run.
then I can put
and
my rook on
yeah.
A4 as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just nothing.
I thought you would
basically.
try rook A6, but
Yeah, but rook A6, A4,
A4 and rook A5.
and rook H4.
Yeah, you'll have to play.
I mean,
H5
and also
then-
you can always just start, you can always just check me too on D4, E4 forever.
Yeah, I
like-
do. I mean, you're not going to.
Yeah, probably you should play rook H4 first, H5, and then check. I mean, and I didn't see anything. Rook D4, like king C6,
Yeah.
rook F4.
Yeah, and then I
Yeah,
can play
and-
H4.
Yeah, I mean,
This is gonna, unless I get my rook trap somehow.
yeah, like the Magnus game or something. But yeah, yeah,
But yeah, it's.
yeah, and also you can always even just block with rook D4 now. I mean, it's it's just a dead draw.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember some years ago they all spoke Russian on the American team actually, if I remember right. Now there are no one speaking Russian on the American teams, and you're getting a new star, perhaps Samuel Shanklin.
Well, he's played on the team.
he's on the
many
team,
times.
yeah.
He's played on many teams now. It's new times, but where are all the Russians? Have they lost the competition towards the?
Well, I think they aren't coming over. Times have changed. I mean, like Gada came over in the early '90s, and of course that was just after the fall of the Soviet Union, so it was a much different time period. And now, I think the top players in Russia are treated quite well because there's a support, I think, mainly from Filatov. So you don't see as many of them emigrating and changing federation. I think that's the main thing. I mean, even if you look at other countries, I can't think of a top Russian who's switched countries recently. The past was U.S., Germany, some of these countries, but now, I don't think I just can't think of a 2,700 plus Russian player who changed federation. So I think it's just, everything is everything is better in Russia now than it was probably, 15,
and also in the United States, perhaps for American players. Do you have a few good players at the time, don't you? You have the 3 stars, the 3 of you who are here, but you have more people coming behind that, isn't that right?
Yeah, we have a lot of. Also, the thing is, if a Russian player came over to the U.S., he would struggle to be higher than 4th board.
At the moment, it's hard to get on the American team.
But yeah,
anyone who's good enough for board 4 should be good enough for the Russian team, also for the Olympiad team. So it's not. It doesn't make a big difference.
But I have, for instance, some students. They go to my school for 3 years, study chess, and they want to continue and perhaps combine it with an education. Is it a good idea to go to the United States, combine playing chess and study? Or is it that because you have a few universities who offer scholarships, I've noticed?
Yeah.
Is it good? I'm sure it's good for the education, but is it good for the chess? Or have you become good because you travel to Europe so many often and so on?
That's a tough question, but I think for the most part, if you go to the U.S. For university, for college, I think that it probably means you're going to lose your opportunity to become a professional, I would say. I think certainly you get an education. Certainly it's paid for, which, considering the general cost of education, secondary education in the U.S., certainly it's a big deal. But I think of someone, for example, like Lukwang Liam, actually, very, very strong and talented player, and he went to Webster for, I assume he's been there like 4 years now, or I think he's graduating or doing something like that. But basically he stopped improving, and he was about 27-20, I think, when he started going, and he's stayed around 2,700, I think, but he hasn't really improved. So, I think it's good for education, but if you're trying to become a professional, I don't think it's...
So it's not like just go to St. Louis and you will have plenty of tournaments and opponents to train with, players to train with.
Well, he lives there, so he can...
He lives there,
better.
Huh?
Well, you
live there, right?
You will have plenty of players to train with, but I don't know how easy it is to balance an education and a professional career, because you have to improve, you do have to travel a lot and to play pretty much constantly, and to work all the time. So it's not easy to balance those two things.
And if you want to travel, if you want to be a professional chess player, you can't just stay in the US. You have to go to Europe. So it's a bit far to travel, actually.
Well, you can live in the US and play in Europe, but it is easier to find tournaments to play in Europe generally.
Okay. Thank you. I think Anand is having a good position, by the way.
Well, I didn't understand this game at all. Like, I didn't understand what Maxime was doing.
But now it's just hopeless, isn't it?
It's just hopeless.
Rook b3 is coming next.
Rook b3.
Yes.
So it's just our
because Rook e5, Rook
no
d3.
counterplay.
I don't know. Maybe King g2, Rook b3, Rook e5.
Rook e5. Take Rook c4, because the bishop doesn't have so many squares.
Yeah,
and your rook will also be hanging on d5. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, rook,
you're right.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm going to have to play
b4.
rook f5 or something. Yeah.
Take Rook c4, Bishop d2, Rook c2.
This one is struggling.
Yeah, this.
Yeah, you're going to have to give a check on f5 to not lose your rook.
But then you lose b2
and you'll lose b2.
So this is kind of just close.
Yeah, this is just lost, I think.
Probably losing now.
It became suddenly.
But I didn't understand Queen f5 made no. I didn't understand this whole thing with Queen f5. I thought there had to be something after Rook f8, like something simpler, like Queen f7,
Knight
f8.
It was hitting up, right?
Yeah, but I thought here it was still fine. I didn't.
Look on this one.
Which one?
This one, right? Then we can.
Yeah, like takes Queen. It felt like there had to be something better than Queen f5 here. I for example, I didn't understand why a3 is so bad.
a3.
Yeah, a3 looked very natural to me.
A3, can I play a4 or you'll just
Yeah,
play
I mean,
rook
I just
b4,
mean
yeah?
I'll play rook b4, and
Rook b4,
I mean,
yeah.
you can say you're better, but I don't think you
No.
have any
Oh.
attack coming.
Shouldn't be better for black now. Should be.
Because if you end up with a queen on
Yeah, because like a4 takes queen f3, there's just queen c6. I mean,
oh, that might be, maybe you could show that.
Which line?
With a4.
b4 and just takes queen f3, queen c6 looks.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like somehow there's going to be some kind of perpetual here.
With
Like
knight
maybe
g5 or
knight
something.
g5 maybe or something.
And that's only
but-
perpetual if it takes it.
Yeah, it takes and just
No, but that's winning, isn't it? This looks like mate.
king h1.
You just go to
H2?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know for sure, but it feels like it's one of these positions where there should be something like this.
Bishop h4, huh?
Yeah, probably.
Maybe the only. I don't know if it's the only move, but it's not
Well-
so easy to find another move.
You can maybe play rook g1. Rook
because-
g1 also and go
The
king.
king can also kind of run to h4, yeah?
Yeah.
So maybe rook f2 isn't even such a
Yeah.
strong threat.
Yeah, something like this feels like, I mean, it
Um,
should be.
He must have seen a problem with this move because it is the most natural move. So
Like
let's
here,
see.
for example, can you just take on b4 and maybe play queen c6?
And
I mean, I feel like white has to go for some kind of counterplay.
a4 and you
Just take d5.
take d5, yeah.
I mean, this one's dangerous. I can also just take b3 as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say that queen b3 doesn't look so. Actually, do you just pick up d5? Yeah?
Queen f3
Queen
is
f3,
not
yeah.
when he takes on g6. Might be a threat with
Yeah,
knight
but-
f4 here.
Yeah. You
But
don't
queen
threaten
d1?
this. Queen d1, queen h3,
And if you
and
just,
ba, yeah.
well, if ba, there's knight knight
Or rook
f4.
f3 also. Yeah? A knight f4 is really bad. Maybe like rook a, but okay, that doesn't.
No, or queen f. Maybe just queen f1 actually. Just and queen g2 and. I mean, it's bad, but I mean, I just thought it was just losing after he went for this queen f5. I didn't. Really
But also,
understand.
I thought this moment was interesting. Couldn't he?
Yeah, he could have also taken, right?
Yeah, take. Because I don't know if black just wants to play fg.
And if it takes on c3,
Right.
Yeah,
This is
and
where
then
it gets
take.
interesting. Takes and take on c.
Or I wasn't sure. Maybe you want to put the queen on c3. Or bc is also playable. I thought if you can get this.
Yeah, very interesting though.
Yeah, it would be another game. But now he played rook e5, yeah.
So I assume rook d3.
So
He just wants to go bishop g5.
they made a
Or
couple
king-
more
king
moves
G2
actually.
first, yeah.
They actually played a few more moves. I think it's clicking on this again.
oh wow.
Oh wow,
Everything's-
this? But
This
this
has
with the
happened.
outside pawn, this must be winning, no?
Yeah, he should play king e2 now, right?
King e2, h5.
Yeah.
This
then
surely must be
the knight on
losing.
c6 also defends everything. And then you just bring the king to f5 and start pushing your h pawn.
So sure though. So king e2, h5, king f3, knight 6, bishop d2, and what, just d3 maybe? Yeah, d3 because like, you're going to force me to have to do something, and even if I win d3, you get the king to f5. Yeah, this has to be
He
winning.
did play this,
He played g5.
g5?
and then this came.
Okay. So king
is this
e2.
just over? With
Well, he'll just try to hold it passively.
He resigned? Okay, yeah.
has resigned. Okay.
I guess he didn't try to hold it passively. Yeah.
Okay then. Will you also try to get on +1 because it seems like having +1 is close to winning the tournament or getting into the tournament.
Some blitz playoff or something. Who
Some
knows?
blitz, some great blitz tiebreak. Wouldn't that be nice?
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, +1 could lead to a huge tie, but it's also very likely.
Which is a common problem perhaps these days, that you don't really need to have such a great score, enormous score, actually to win the tournament. Do you consider it a problem, or is it kind of...
Chess is hard.
I don't know. I mean,
it's just how it turns out.
+3 is a minimum to get a tie for first usually. Yeah? I mean, like London +3 was a tie for first.
Does that worry you that there are so many draws? Because that's kind of a topic here. It's not your problem,
That's how chess is.
Huh?
That's how chess is.
Yes. But it's nothing actually. We shouldn't direct this question to you because you are really fighters, and we're all praising you all the time for fighting games and so on. So, no problems with your styles. That's absolutely for sure.
No, I think everyone is fighting. It's just
they're all fighters.
It's not so easy.
It's just that
to
they
make chances
manage to win
sometimes.
so easily.
But okay,
It's not like if you just take bigger risks, you will win more games and lose more games. You will just basically lose more games. That's the thing.
well, no, I mean there are ways to take risks, and sometimes it leads to more decisive results. Sometimes it even leads to great tournaments, but it's not even easy to take risks these days. I mean, without doing something.
But you sometimes win an enormous amount of games. I think you win many more games than the others. Is it because you take more risks, or is it just because you play better, or what is it?
I also sometimes lose a lot more games.
You do lose
so
more games too.
At least
so that's kind of an ideal. If everyone played like you, try to win more games, and okay, I lose more games then. Is that the kind of?
But I also haven't been really pushing for wins or anything. It's just that this year this is what's happened. I mean,
it's just happening.
I've won a lot of games with black, not really pushing for a win, but I just.
Do you try to win with black also, right?
No, but if you get chances, then you take them.
I remember back in the days with Kasparov, that was horrible with either color, or just trying to crush you with both black and white. But
but preparation, the times have changed. Preparation is much easier, I think, to prepare for some of those things too.
Now everyone is like Kasparov, coming with huge preparations and so on.
Yeah, basically. Even lower players now, so yeah, that's pretty normal.
Yeah, makes it difficult. So, okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Go-To Life is instant health in a bottle. Enjoy the experience of life, vitality, energy, recovery, and water in one water bottle, without the downsides of all those added calories or sugar. Go-To Life is a lifestyle product for wellness, recovery, and energy. It's water charged with high level of oxygen. Using our unique technology, we make it possible to dissolve oxygen in water up to 10 times more than you normally find in your tap or bottled water. That could provide boost to your health. This makes oxygen water one of the most sought-after well-being and lifestyle products in the world. Find out more at www.gotolife.no.
Vishy Anand wins his round 7 game against Maxim Vachier-Lagrave. The two players are still in the playing hall, as you can see, analyzing this complex game. Simon, what was your take from what you have listened to from Fabi and Hikaru talking about this last decisive game of the day?
Yes, they have their opinions, and they were not necessarily the same actually, because it seemed like the critical position was around. It definitely was around here. The critical position arose, and we heard. Who was it again? The first one who was discussing this position, and they didn't exactly suggest the same. It was what I noticed. So this is a big mess. I think we'll simply leave it to the players to explain here. At least I shouldn't even try, because this is certainly complicated. But it feels like the computer evaluation, they were critical towards Queen F5. They wanted to play A3. They don't remember exactly that was the line they looked at. Who was it again? I can't remember. But the others who were looking at this position, I don't think they mentioned A3. But Bishop F5, what I thought, well, I'm not sure if it counts for anything. I was just wondering about this move.
C4, exactly.
Yeah, I just thought then it seems like you have to take here. And I just thought, okay, you can take here and then take this one.
This is what Shahryar and Wesley were analyzing when they were here in the studio.
It was Shahryar, Mamadiyar, and Wesley, so right. But then I suddenly had a look at the computer, and I saw it was mentioning something with Bishop D7 and Knight Queen D7.
Queen D7 to protect the D5 pawn and attack the queen.
And then I don't know what that says, but and perhaps F4 is possible now. But who knows how this is? And Bishop D2 is also possible, I guess. But this looked okay. The thing was that I think here didn't either Mamadiyar or so just A3, if I remember right.
Yes, they did.
They just pointed out this and that this should be
Rook takes B4.
And that this should be a draw. And I think the computer says the same actually.
Really? So was this the mistake?
That may actually be the crucial mistake. But just taking on B4 may be the crucial mistake, which is a little bit surprising because it's not that difficult to see. But if this one goes somewhere, well, yeah, I remember you looked at this and then suddenly came Bishop E1 and
no, don't play Bishop C1.
Yeah,
that was our conclusion, not to play it.
This
yes.
was quite horrible actually.
It is horrible.
This is really horrible, I think.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not actually because you have Bishop E3.
Oh,
but
we've just made it not so horrible.
Yeah. But maybe this first knight E4.
Knight E4 or knight E3, both.
They both look good. Maybe this is
knight E4 more
very
because
very
it prevents Bishop G5.
There's nothing. This is really bad, stupid. But it was. We were wondering who was trying to pretend they were better, or who was playing for a win. But it turns out that Anand seems to have had full control. But we must ask them. But taking here and playing this one certainly was stupid. And I think B3 must have been a very good move actually, because.
Can you explain the point behind B3?
If you play something like this, then White gets a chance to play B4 and A4, and that's a crucial difference. Suddenly have a pass pawn.
So since this B4 pawn was going to be lost no matter what, it's better to give it up in a way that you double the opponent's pawns.
Yeah, maybe this is also better for White, by the way, because there are tricks around here.
For Black, you mean it's better?
I mean, maybe this is also quite good for Black. But it's certainly dangerous with this A pawn that might start running. Maybe White can give up the whole king side or something if he just managed to roll with a pawn. But B3 looked very convincing. You played B3 first. You have to take that one. You cannot do anything else, I believe. Especially, there is an argument for this one. It looks because if you play Rook A7, then there is A5, I think. There's actually an argument for this one, but I guess you just take it and play. And entering down here is this knight here is still a very strong piece. It takes away so many squares for the bishop and protects this pawn and everything. I think it's kind of not possible to find. Here, I think it was who was here when we had this position. They just said it was lost. I think I don't remember who was saying it. If you asked the players to help us with the analysis, of course.
Yes, it
But,
was Wesley and
Wesley,
Shah.
so they just said it was over here. Bishop rook d3 looks like a precise move actually. I'm not sure why, but it does. This bishop is really stupid.
Yeah, I think we will know more about this position from the
Yeah, they're
players.
coming
So
now.
we
They
are
can tell
going
us.
on a 10-second technical break in order to get the microphones ready. Welcome back to the broadcast. The last game to finish today in round 7 was between Maxime Vacher-Lagrave and Vishy Anand. Can you tell us about the game? Since this was our first victory with the black pieces, we are especially curious. Where did it go wrong, Maxime?
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to say exactly. I mean, I remembered I had looked at this position. I had mainly looked at knight takes c1, after which white ends up being slightly better. But I mean, as far as I remember, after knight f4, I'm supposed to be better. In the pity is I cannot start with rook c3 because of b4. So, and well, c5 is a threat, so I didn't find anything better than knight f3. But of course, after bishop g4, it gets maybe a bit double-edged. Maybe here, maybe I could start with bishop e3, but somehow.
Maybe f5, no?
No, I thought c5 now.
Oh,
actually, g4, c4. If I take, you take, and then you play f5.
Sorry, couldn't I play bishop f3, queen f3, c5? Or it doesn't work?
Wait. Yeah, it does. Yeah, actually.
This is the extra option for me as well. Yeah. So yeah, I think.
So it doesn't matter that the d5 pawn is hanging because the d4 pawn as well drops.
Yeah, and then with a fork. So anyway, I went g4, and after a5, I considered many options. I mean, I was going to go for rook ac1, but I didn't like the position after c5, dc5, b4. And now I think the main point of the line for black was he first goes d4. So I have to take with the bishop and then a4. Because black cannot take on c5 yet, but now after a4 I have to take on e6 and then queen d5 comes, and I couldn't really figure out what that was. So finally I was pretty happy with the move bishop c2, but somehow I missed that after f5 I need to be in a hurry to consolidate my king side, and because a3 doesn't work so well, black just plays bishop e7, and then there's all this counterplay, so I probably have to take on f6, but then of course after this exchange sacrifice, I mean, I wasn't even sure about queen f7. I thought maybe queen h4 was promising.
Yeah, queen h4, I thought you can go knight f8.
And d takes
and
c5.
d takes c5, and if queen h3, then you have queen d1, and I'm
no,
just
queen h3 I have bishop g5, but
no,
yeah.
then queen g4 check. Rook g3, yeah, but
yeah, no, but I thought d4,
but then queen e4, no, yeah.
I just also queen.
Queen f6. but this thing is open enough that maybe g5 or
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
c6 and rook e3. So
Yeah,
it
yeah,
should. No, sorry. Then there's queen f2. Yeah. Well, anyway.
Yeah.
I feel it could be okay.
Yeah, queen f7. And here I just forgot what would happen. I mean, when I played queen f5, I forgot about b3 and rook f3. So yeah, of course a3 was the correct move. But I wasn't sure. I mean, after this, I thought black is fine, and well, actually, in hindsight, of course, that should have been what I was trying to do, equalize. Yeah, and
Queen c6 maybe. So
yeah, and knight at g4, g5, for instance, is a clean draw. I mean, maybe you can actually play for more with a4, for instance. I mean,
yes,
because this endgame is nowhere near easy for white as well. Actually, yeah, maybe this is also close to lost.
yes.
So actually, yeah, after c4, yeah, and this I didn't like this.
Maybe you could play queen takes b5 there instead of queen takes d5. Yeah, but
wait,
queen c6, a4, and queen takes b5.
yeah, maybe that's what I should do. Yeah.
But it's very sharp, and I wouldn't be surprised if black had something. So
Yeah, no, but yeah, I should definitely have played a3 anyway. I mean, even this can't be that much worse for white, although it's already some unpleasantness.
I don't see a defense for you almost.
Yeah, you have rook f3 next. Yeah, no, this is just bad.
More than unpleasant.
Well, I have king h2, but
then knight f4 and I take the pawn on d4 and
yeah.
So
Yeah, maybe there's some drawing chances, but yeah. Anyway, a3 was a must because yeah. Although here, I heard you guys talking about a3.
yeah, knight c5.
Yeah, knight c5, rook b4. Yeah, like this. This should actually be.
Oh, this is just equal, isn't it?
Yeah, no, but
Yeah.
after a3, I thought I was. But then I just thought that this was bad, but actually it might not be. Yeah, just king f1.
Yeah, I just missed that you can.
Yeah, I don't know what I missed because.
No, I'll tell you what. After knight c5, I saw a b4, knight b3, rook d1. No, sorry, no, that doesn't make sense. What did I see? Knight c5. No, yeah, rook d4, a b4, rook. Bishop d4, knight b3, and so on.
Wait. And what about this move? No, it's too much. Yeah, rook e3 simply.
And ba5.
Yeah. No, this is. Yeah, no. Yeah, then this is where it went wrong because.
So that was just equal.
Yeah, probably I just thought this is fine for me, and I forgot about b3 completely. Yeah. So.
In fact, I spent a split second after a b3 thinking knight c5 was winning, but of course that it in fact loses. But
I would lose.
with a little bit of common sense, you can play f3.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
back rank check and bishop b4.
yeah, but rook f3 clinches it. I
Yeah.
think this is just gone. So
Yeah, I tried to figure out the best way to create troubles. Maybe. I mean, yeah, this was also hopeless actually. So.
no, in fact, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm dominating the bishop always, and also here I was even thinking, can I go back to d3? So maybe it's over finessing.
No, but this you couldn't really do.
Rook d1.
Yeah, no bishop g5.
Hit 6, isn't your? Oh, then you have check.
Yeah.
Okay. No, then this doesn't work. Yeah.
I was really thinking I might have a chance there, but actually I just don't. Yeah, because rook a3 first, there's rook d3.
Before, could I play rook h3 or rook a3? I mean, I found it hard to believe because anyway your pawn is backward. But,
Yeah, no, but
because otherwise it's just the game with the pawn. Right?
Yeah. No, I have to go rook a3, of course.
Maybe I played No, I can't play d4 because you play f4. No, I can play d4 and knight
d3, yeah. No, you should be winning anyway, because this is...
Knight c2?
No, just this. Then g6.
g5?
Yeah, well, I'm expecting...
right, yeah, sure.
Also, well, actually, this might be slightly tricky. No, I'm not managing to make a4 work. Yeah.
But
you decided rook d3 was better than the Catalan.
Yeah, because there the rook gets committed to e1, and then
no, it's just winning. And yeah, I don't have any other moves on taking on b3. So yeah, I mean, I just forgot about b3. Otherwise, I might have considered a3, but it didn't even. Somehow it didn't even cross my mind that this was legal and not losing by force, basically.
How did you see the game, Vishy? From your perspective, when did you think it was already a position that was more pleasant for you?
It went very fast because till here I'm trying to solve problems with very specific... because even though I really like my knight on e6, it's holding the black position together. That's not in itself enough. If you can put a rook on c6, and it's not clear what I can do. So I went to solving this. And at this stage, it was still not clear to me because I was considering a4, rook c1. I even wanted to play bishop b4 to provoke a3 so that I can play a4 and b4 and get some counterplay. But then, I mean, bishop b4 and f5 seemed to me almost the only move for black. Yes. But then suddenly here there was this, I had the sensation that what am I playing for? And then it hit me that I'm already playing for an advantage. So it went too quickly for me to adjust.
From equalizing, it went on to, how can I have an advantage?
So at the board, this sensation of the position taking a violent turn is what I remember.
Yeah, I mean, this was a trap for me because, I just thought I was better, or at least pushing most of the time, and then suddenly I'm in trouble because... I mean, I can play queen c6, but then you just take, and rook e8 is next. So this is also quite bad. So...
What about the idea of sacrificing the exchange, Vishy? Did you have any alternative there, or it occurred to you immediately that
I wanted to... The other one is bishop d6. I mean, it's also an exchange sack, but the other plan was bishop d6.
But
I couldn't see the point. I mean, rook b5, bishop e5, d5, black is not better than in the game, so... So this makes no sense to enter this. And then c5 is just automatic. I don't know if I have any other plan besides c5, so it's...
Yeah, but it was just automatic, basically.
Sure. Because after dc5, d4, this whole thing is working, so...
Yes.
Yes. No, here I basically don't have a choice. Either queen f5 or a3,
Yeah.
Otherwise, my position's just too...
Well, I don't know, dc5...
No, dc5, d4...
Rook d1, but then take bishop c5, yeah, that's a problem.
No, and c6 is anyway not working, so...
c6 what? Take bishop c5 again,
Yeah.
Yes, no, it's just not enough.
No, I felt my position was alright, but then didn't turn out that way, simply.
Only after b3 you realized that something was wrong.
But after b3 it's not only wrong, it's beyond repair.
Yeah, there's no way back from this point.
Nah.
Thank you for showing us the game. We thought that it was a really exciting battle. Also, we loved the detail about the exchange sacrifice, but at the same time the b3 rook is basically trapped. So it was such a non-traditional game, at least to us. We have never seen anything similar with all these double pawns and the rooks being captured, trapped. We wish you good luck for the remaining 2 games. Wish you congratulations on the victory. Now in the lead together with Magnus Carlsen and Wesley. So did you think about this possibility that since the other 2 players with +1, they were the leaders, that you can easily catch them still?
Well, I think that thought occurred to everyone. I mean, if you look at the standings, it's just very tight. But just like the game took a sudden turn, suddenly I find myself in the lead. I mean, it's kind of random, so I haven't sort of given it that much thought.
Does it change anything for your preparation for the remaining 2 games, or that you just take the games as they are?
Well, I think I will just we get a tough opponent every day. I don't know what will change.
How about you, Maxime? I know that defeats are difficult to deal with.
Yeah, well, I'm just not playing well. I mean, at first I thought I was, but then nothing really went my way in the last game. So yeah, I mean, clearly there were some big miscalculations. So yeah, I'm hoping I can do better in the last two, and somehow, well, I mean, to get to sort of regain some confidence for the next tournament, because well, this one's basically over.
All right, I wish you the best of luck to both of you, and we will be back tomorrow with the broadcast at the same time as usual, 4:30 local time, here in the Stavanger Concert Hall if you want to visit us. See you tomorrow.
Go-To Life is instant health in a bottle. Enjoy the experience of life, vitality, energy, recovery, and water in one water bottle, without the downsides of all those added calories or sugar. Go-To Life is a lifestyle product for wellness, recovery, and energy. It's water charged with a high level of oxygen. Using our unique technology, we make it possible to dissolve oxygen in water up to 10 times more than you normally find in your tap or bottled water. That could provide boost to your health. This makes oxygen water one of the most sought-after well-being and lifestyle products in the world. Find out more at www.gotolife.no.